welcome back after a 2-week hiatus. We are back live with another episode of the Golden Ticket Show in our new studio here in 3 blocks away from where I used to be at. My name is Dan with Gotham Gambling, here with Steve Fast Breaks and Kev Heels 0809. Fellas, we are now officially in the first month of the year that we'll have football since the offseason, as NFL will kick off July 31st, and we are just closing in on, we're just under 2 months till the first week of college football. You guys are our college experts. How excited are you guys for this upcoming season?
You know that feeling of Christmas Eve where you can't sleep? I'm starting to get that in my gut. Santa's coming to deliver some gifts. I'm ready to go, man. I'm excited, pumped up, and I won't be doing this show while a Texas game is on. So, it rocks.
Well, listen. They don't play on Wednesdays, so we're good. This is Wednesday nights is now our new time for the Golden Ticket Show going into football season. Watch. If they don't make the college football playoffs, they're gonna get some weird Wednesday, like New Year's Eve
bowl game. Oh my god!
Steve's gonna be like, wait, let me see. New Year's Eve is on a Wednesday this year, so
yeah.
I seen that look, Steve.
Jinxing.
Yeah.
My
No, it's got to be broken now, right? Because Texas won in softball while you were watching live.
That's
so
true.
The streak's possibly broken. So for all you guys tuning in, welcome to our college football preview episode. We're in the middle of talking baseball. We just decided we're going to start doing some breakdowns, futures, predictions, previews for all the college football teams, a couple of conferences at a time. You guys can also check out Steve and Kev on the College Juice Pod. I think part of this episode will also be over there as well. As we're going to break down every single little thing, couple conferences at a time. So we're going to, baby, Braves just hit a grand slam. Let's go. 7-run inning. How's it feel, LA? So today's episode is going to be Conference USA and the ACC. We're still waiting on Don and Joe to join in a couple minutes. So let's go ahead and start with the lower conference here. Let's start with the C-USA. Before we dive team by team, I mean, is there kind of a preview of players to watch in this conference, a team that you guys think might break out or have an upset season? Anything really interesting off first look with the CUSA?
I mean, I'm interested in how Vasco takes over at Liberty for now that Selden's in Colorado. The coach at Liberty, I'm spacing on his name now.
Jamie Chadwell.
Thank you. Chadwell actually recruited Vasco, and so now he's following him over to Liberty because he was at Coastal last year. So it'll be interesting to see if Liberty can kind of have the same success now that Selden's gone. I mean, I guess just from an interesting standpoint, they're also bringing in 2 teams from the SCS, which now makes something like 14 teams in the last 10 years that have initially joined Conference USA as their first FBS conference. So Conference USA is like the Ellis Island of college football when it comes to FCS moving up. They just take everybody. But, Western Kentucky is an interesting story. They continue to lose people, but then find a way to always win 8 games, at least the last 4 years. They're going to have to do the same thing again this year because I think they only brought back like 40% or 42% of the roster. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at.
I'm curious to see how well and their team's not gonna. If listen, their ceiling is probably gonna be about 6 wins here, but Florida International, I really like their quarterback, um, Keon Jenkins, playing in Pitbull Stadium down in South Florida. Um,
I
he's
really hope that every time they get a first down, you know how like Panther stadiums will always do like the roar. Like I just really hope they do like "Darling" and like something like that.
I mean, I don't, I don't expect them to tear it up, but they're on the outside. If they can sneak 2 games on some of these toss up games they have, they could be bowl eligible. So I'm curious to see where they go. I'm curious to see how Kennesaw State bounced back from the horrible season they had last year. Everyone's favorite team to build a dynasty with on college football 25. Probably won't be on college football 26. You got Missouri State moving up, Delaware moving up. So you have different teams to kind of take a look at as far as small teams to build up. But I'm curious to watch how Delaware does. Delaware was a fun team to watch in FCS. Um, Going up there, I caught games on the regular up that way. So definitely gonna try to make my way up there when they have a game now. Try to see some of these Conference USA teams in person here.
Yeah, I'm also like I always like watching Western Kentucky just because my teammate for like the catcher when I was a pitcher in baseball all the way through high school is the graduate assistant linebacker coach at Western Kentucky over the last 2 years. So I'm always going to root for them. Plus, their mascot is just a freak of nature, and I love it. A little grimace thing,
googly eyed,
yeah,
looking thing. But yeah, no, Western Kentucky, I think is probably going to be one of the best teams in the C-USA. Keep wanting to call it the UCSA, but
I always call it the CUSA.
CUSA, that works.
Yeah. All right, so let's break down some of these teams. We'll just start, alphabetical order here. And obviously the one that a lot of people will be talking about, the Delaware Blue Hens in their first season in the FBS team. Looking at their schedule right now, you got Colorado week 2. The only 3 non-conference games are actually 4, I'm lying. Colorado, UConn, Delaware State, and Wake Forest to round out the end of their season. I mean, what's kind of to expect from Delaware here in their first year?
I see maybe 3 wins looking at their schedule. Let me pull up.
Yeah, no, on FanDuel right now, if they have it set at 4.5, you can get plus money for under. I'm with you, Steve. I think I really only see 3.
They opened the season against Delaware
State, yeah.
Delaware State. And that's Mike Vick. Was that? No, that's not Mike Vick,
No.
right? That's
Deshaun
Jackson.
Yeah.
Followed by Colorado. That's a loss. So the toss-up game, I guess, Delaware State, brand new coaching situation. They're kind of experienced FCS team. So they'll probably get their first win, first game of the season, followed by Colorado. I don't see them beating Colorado. UConn was a very solid squad last year. Followed by Florida International. So they open Conference USA play at Pitbull Stadium.
Yeah.
Exactly. Norfolk is Michael Vick. Husker Nation. I don't know who Husker Nation is.
Yeah. I have a feeling
we'll get there. We'll get there when we get to the Big Ten, buddy.
trying to figure out who the fuck that
But
is.
you know what? They're probably not. You know what? Listen. I'll go off script and go to Nebraska real quick. You change things at the defensive coordinator position. I saw some improvement with that change. The OC. There could be a turnaround for Nebraska coming into next season. So that's my initial breakdown of Nebraska for you.
Yeah, they should make it bowl eligible again.
Yeah, back-to-back bowl games definitely for you guys.
So yeah, I'm looking at Delaware's futures here. Obviously, not really looking at these to win 10 games plus 22,000.
It's a waste of money.
Regular season wins line is set at 5.5. Conference wins is set at 3.5. Plus money on under 3.5 conference wins, and plus money on over 5.5 total wins. So they think they're gonna. A lot of books are looking at a 5-win team, but they're gonna get 4 of those wins in conference. By the looks of it right here, I mean, could you guys buy into that, or are we looking? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I don't. I think at FIU's a loss. Then your next game is Western Kentucky at home. I think Western Kentucky is going to be one of the better teams in this conference. So I think that's a loss. Then you're at Jack State. Yeah, they had a lot of turnover, but including losing their head coach. But Jack State, the new coach there, brought in a bunch of power conference backups to come play at a smaller program. So I actually expect them to be better than people think they're going to be. So I don't know if they can win that game, especially it being at Jacksonville State. I mean, I think their first conference win will probably be October 22nd at home against Middle Tennessee, just because Middle Tennessee's defense last year was so horrific. And I don't know how. I really don't think they're going to improve that much. Outside of that, probably UTEP at home in the last game of the season. For me, like I said, I'm looking at them on FanDuel right now, just win total, not conference wins, but just overall win total. FanDuel has it set at 4.5, and under is plus 110. For me, I'm taking that.
Okay.
Steve? I don't think they get 5 wins.
No, looking at the schedule, I don't see 5 wins. Middle Tennessee State, Middle Tennessee, not Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee did have a transfer into their linebacking core. Derek Mason is a defensive coach, which is ironic that they're so bad on defense last year. So, what is this year?
I think it's
3, year 2 or 3.
I think it's 2. I think he was
2.
Their first year was last year.
There could be a turnaround there for their defense. Maybe they figured out that system, but I'm thinking year 3. But if it's year 2, maybe not so much. But I think maybe that's the game they'll be in. Louisiana Tech at home. I think they could possibly get a win there. At Sam Houston, that's a far trip.
Yeah, I don't see them winning any other road games.
Yeah.
Then they go to Wake Forest.
Wake Forest for homecoming. Mm-mm. I mean, it's Wake Forest, so they probably knowing Wake, they would disappoint everyone like that.
And they finish the season against UTEP, and I like UTEP this season.
The 2 wins I see for sure are their first one against Delaware State and then Middle Tennessee. And then I think it's a toss-up with La Tech and a toss-up with UTEP, and I don't see another toss-up. So for me, I think they max out at 4. I think their ceiling is 4 wins. This has to be Joe.
You're right, I do. I do got to step up my Conference USA game.
Either that or it's Don's burner account.
Maybe it is.
All right, so final prediction. If you guys could give an exact number on wins, what would you say?
Exact number? I'll go with 3. I think they beat Delaware State, Middle Tennessee, and UTEP.
Really, UTEP?
I'm not as big in UTEP as you are. I like Louisiana Tech better. I think Louisiana Tech will be a better team.
I would take the under in that win total for the conference. What is it? You said 3.5?
3.5, yeah.
I'm taking under in that and under on their season, man.
What's
3
the
wins.
exact 3? You're going 3 wins too?
Yep.
I think I'm right there with you. I think 3, and then we'll get Don's later in the show. All right, so let's go on to Mr. Worldwide's favorite college, Florida International. Looking at their projections right now, over under is sitting at 5.5, minus 115 on either side. Conference wins, over 3.5 is the favorited side at minus 130. Under 3.5 is plus money right now. For them to win the conference championship game, it's plus 1,500. Just a little fun one I thought I'd throw out there. Looking at their schedule, you start off with Bethune-Cookman. You have to play Penn State at Penn State, and then you have the Shula Bowl. You're hosting the Shula Bowl versus FAU before you get into conference play, and that's your. And then other than that, you play UConn, which I guess at this point UConn is just an honorary member of the C-USA. Because I think everyone in the conference plays UConn this year.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily surprise me if they really are. What'd you say their conference total was? Projector line? 4.5?
Conference total was 3.5, yeah.
3.5, okay.
And 5.5 for the full total.
Okay.
Yes, funny enough, I might take.
I like the conference total, going over on the conference total.
Let me talk this up. Bethune-Cookman's a win.
Yeah.
I think FAU is a win.
Penn State's going to be a sweat fest, but they're going to take an L.
A sweat fest. Steve's out here sweating plus 47.5 at halftime.
James Franklin has trouble in big games, you know.
Yep.
Hey, they're gonna pull an Ashton Genty. Drew Aller's gonna have 500 yards at halftime.
Florida Atlantic.
That's a toss up. I kind of like FAU, but I could easily see Florida International winning that.
I have a soft spot in that because Florida Atlantic was my rebuild dynasty that I went the longest with. I think I'm in the year I think I finished my final year and I said that's it until the next game comes out. And I'm like 2035. We're like the number 3 team in the country.
Let's say a loss for FIU in that one. So 1-2 at the moment. Then they play Delaware. We think they beat Delaware, so 2-2. That's a conference game, so 1 conference win. UConn, consider that probably a loss.
Yeah,
it's at UConn.
Yeah,
luckily it's in early October, so the weather's not going to be too crazy. At Western Kentucky, another loss. Against Kennesaw at home, I think that's a win. So that's two conference wins, 3 wins overall. Then Missouri State, another team moving up to the FBS. That team hasn't, Missouri State hasn't beat a FBS team since 1990. I mean, they're gonna have to eventually now that they're in FBS, so it's gonna get broken.
They can be They can be the Mississippi Valley of college football.
So was that 3 wins in conference or 2 wins in conference? 2 wins, 3 wins in conference. Then they play at Middle Tennessee State.
I think that's a win. I'm not high on Middle Tennessee.
Husker Nation. I don't know if he does OF with other men, man. I don't know that. Moving on. They're gonna lose to Liberty.
Side note, just had to interrupt. Hunter Brown is about to lose people so much money today. Fourth inning, 0 strikeouts, 0 against the Rockies.
Jesus.
Someone said it.
I'm so happy I didn't take him today.
3 hits, 2 runs.
Doesn't Don hate Hunter?
Yeah, he does.
God, he's gonna have a fucking field day.
This is justified right now because. Yeah,
just saying. Christian Moore called him a bitch, and then all of a sudden he can't pitch anymore.
Yeah, Kev, I don't know about my initial call about maybe potential bowl eligibility from this team.
For FIU?
No, because you end the season against Liberty, Jacksonville State, then Sam Houston.
I like the over 3.5 on the conference ones. I think Delaware, Kennesaw State, Missouri State, and Middle Tennessee. I think they win all 3 of those games back to back to back, and then all of a sudden, they're going to lose to Liberty. They're going to lose to Jack State. Can they beat Sam Houston at Sam Houston is what it's going to come down to as far as your 6 wins, right? If you say they're going to win Bethune-Cookman, or unless you think they're going to beat Florida Atlantic, then that could be 6 wins there. You beat Bethune-Cookman for sure. If you can beat Florida Atlantic, that's 2. Then you beat Delaware, that's 3. And then you run off the 3 against Kennesaw, Missouri State, and Middle Tennessee. That's 6. So it's going to come down to Florida Atlantic and or Sam Houston, in my opinion. But to me, it's not worth it. I'd take the under on the win total as far as total wins, but I'd take the over on the 3.5 for the conference wins.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'll take the under on win total, but I'm going to stay away from that conference.
Yeah. All right. So exact win total. What do we got?
I have
win total. Go ahead, see.
4-ish.
Very exact there. So,
yeah.
No, we don't know who you are yet, or I don't. Anyway.
It's Joe. That's how Joe talks.
It's a lovely Joe.
My exact win total with a little more confidence, I'm going to say 5.
All right. I think I'm with Steve there. I also think also this is coming from I would say compared to you guys, I would say I'm on the more novice side. What I've seen from FIU just as not paying as much attention to them is that's 2. That's 2, Cav. You get 1 more.
You just
1 more, and you and Husker Nation got to go to a room together. They always tend to hit the cold part of the year, and they kind of start to struggle. They hit the back end of the season, and they almost run out of gas. And I'm looking at their schedule. Their bye week is week 5, I think. I don't think they have a second bye week unless I'm missing it on the schedule. Because ESPN doesn't show the when the bye weeks are; it just shows the dates.
Right.
Well, they don't have a bye week, but then when we get to mid-season is when they start playing their Tuesday games. So they get a 10-day break. So yeah, I think that's when they kind of hit that stretch where they have to and they just, I don't want to say implode, but they I think teams kind of figure out how they play, and they can't really bounce back. So I'm gonna go with Steve there and do 4. All right, next one here. We got the JSU Gamecocks, Jacksonville State. Looking at their schedule right now, as I'm also pulling up their futures. UCF week 1, Liberty week 2, Georgia Southern, Murray State, Southern Miss, and then the rest of play is conference play, including road trips to Middle Tennessee, UTEP, Florida Atlantic, and Kennesaw State and Western Kentucky at home. Looking at this team, where do you guys see from them?
Well, they've lost a lot of starters.
Mm-hmm.
They've also had a lot of players transfer in. New head coach Charles Kelly, replacing Rich Rod. Looking up, so yeah, they've returned around 27% of their production of last year.
Mm-hmm. But you knew Rich Rod was going to take a lot of that with him.
Right.
I mean, as I said at the beginning, that he brought in a lot of backup power conference guys. Their quarterbacks coming from Rutgers and, well, this is 3rd transfer now. Rutgers and Kentucky. They're bringing in the backup running back from TCU. They got a D tackle that was at Virginia Tech. And then a cornerback that has transferred a ton of times as well, but has been at Alabama and USC, along with some other guys as well. So,
was it? Is it Tyron Taylor?
No. The cornerback is Fegans, Tariquan Fegans. I mean, the one thing I think I remember reading that they didn't lose a lot of was their line.
O-line? Nah, they're gonna have all their guys that were already starting on their O-line. 3 sophomores, and 2 juniors.
So, I actually think they'll be a little better than people think, at least in conference play. I mean, I see 2 wins in non-conference personally. I think they beat Georgia Southern and Murray State. What's up with them having to play Liberty week 2? Good Lord.
I guess maybe like a catch them off guard kind of thing.
It could be for
like
Liberty.
You always see like top teams in the conference, they blow someone out week 1, and then week 2 is like when they kind of struggle.
Yeah, I mean that
because Liberty plays Maine week 1, and then they travel to Jacksonville State.
Yeah, so that could be a sleeper game potentially that Jack State can pull off,
or at least keep it close.
I mean, they end the year with 3 away games, 2 home games, but those 3 away games are all winnable, in my opinion, against Middle Tennessee, UTEP, Florida International. And then you got Kennesaw State thrown in there, and then you end the year with Western Kentucky, which that'll be a loss. What was the line I'm getting is 6.5? Is that what you guys have?
Yep, 6.5 at plus money. Conference win total at 4.5. To win the conference championship game plus 700.
Yeah, I wouldn't take them for a conference championship.
You can also get them to win 6 at minus 200 if you want something to juice it with.
Yeah.
They're also week 1. Because remember I was telling you guys lines are out for like the first weeks of the season. Week 1 currently their line is, I just had it up. Where was it? Minus 16.5 to UCF.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet this one because what I'm seeing for if you take the under 6.5 is minus 170. I mean, I guess if you want to parlay that with something, but I mean, an initial look at their schedule, I see probably 5 wins and a couple toss-ups, but I don't think they get this. I think they get bowl. I think they have a legit shot to be bowl eligible, but I'd stay away personally. I don't think the money's right.
I think 6 is a good number to kind of land on. Sorry, I just got to text from Don. He's almost home. He said, "Turn that frown upside down." But yeah, it's. I see maybe. I mean, 6 wins, but I have just too many question marks to kind of lock that in. So I would take the under. Quarterback situation, either Gavin, is it Wimsat and Cade Cunningham.
Great name.
I didn't realize he still had years of eligibility left.
Yeah, he got tired of the Pistons. Went
back to college.
That's what Malik. That's what your team signing Tim Hardaway does to you.
Yeah, I don't know what identity this team is going to have. I don't know if they're going to change up too much with the new coach, with Charles Kelly. So it's hard for me to kind of be confident in a over 6.5.
Yeah.
So, final predictions. What are you saying their exact win total will be this year?
I'll go with 5.
Steve?
Give me 6.
Right. And yeah, I think I'm on 5 as well. I was kind of leaning 4 because I feel like they'll get upset by someone. But I'll stay safe and go 5. Next one is everyone's favorite college football 25 team, Kennesaw State. I know my dad's going to be at their week 1 game because they're playing because Kennesaw State's actually his alma mater, and they're playing at Wake Forest, which is 20 minutes from his house. So he's definitely going to be there. They start their lines are opening for them to win over 3.5 games is minus 150, under 3.5 is plus money. Their conference wins, they have over 2.5 at minus 150 and under 2.5 at plus 120. Their out of conference schedule to start the year is Wake Forest, at Indiana versus Merrimack, and versus Arkansas State before getting into conference play. Ending their season at Liberty. They got to play at New Mexico, at FIU, and they have Middle Tennessee, LA Tech, at UTEP, and Mizzou State at home. What are we going to see from this second-year program in the FBS?
I don't think a whole lot personally. I don't know if they were 3-9 last year. It wouldn't surprise me if they went 3-9 again. I honestly think it's kind of worth it to go with the under 3.5 at that plus money. Like, they're going to be Merrimack, right? Arkansas State can probably get them, but
I like how you said that like you were like wanting assurance. Like they can beat them, right?
should beat Middle Tennessee at home and should beat Missouri State at
You
home.
really don't like Middle Tennessee this
No,
year.
I don't. I do not like Middle Tennessee.
I don't know, man.
It's the Kyle Schwarber of college football. That's
I mean, they're not winning any of their road games in conference. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth taking.
You don't
plus
think they
money
can
in the
sneak up
under.
on? Well, not in. Well, they have New Mexico State later. You don't think they could catch them?
Not on the road, I don't. Plus, that's a long travel. Going from.
Oh, Hunter Brown, you beauty.
Georgia. They're in Georgia.
Hunter Brown just struck 6 straight batters out.
You're lying.
No, he just 22 pitches, 6 straight strikeouts.
I'm still happy I didn't take that back because I didn't want to be sweating that.
That's why he's the GOAT.
Didn't want to be sweating that against.
He's still
Colorado.
under right now because I think it was 6.5.
Yeah, but I took 6.
Yeah.
I took 6 as my parlay piece.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because I knew it was going to get hooked on some bullshit. It's actually just going to be Gunnar Henderson going 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. I mean, is there a game here? I mean, obviously, Indiana and Wake, they're playing the home openers. Wake Forest is 18-point favorites. In the opening game, obviously, Indiana's going to most likely be like a 20-point favorite. Game 2. I mean, is there any of these games against the top of the conference that they could sneak away a win, or maybe even like carry the momentum from Merrimack into Arkansas State? I mean, is there any game where you could see them being an upset team?
They run it back on Liberty again
to end the season.
I mean, I will admit most places have them projected at just over 4 wins. Most of the models have them at 4.3 wins, but to me, I think it's worth the risk. It's worth the squeeze to take the under and take the plus money.
Okay.
That's where I sit at least. So my exact total will be 3 wins.
All right, Steve, your final breakdown.
I'll go 3. I'm gonna go 3 because Wake Forest gonna.
How are you gonna give me all that hard time and then you're just gonna agree with me?
The only hard time I gave you was the New Mexico State. I'm just asking questions, man.
And Middle Tennessee.
That's because you hate them for some reason this year.
I don't hate that. I just don't believe that Derek Bass is going to turn around that defense.
You think Kennesaw State can beat Middle Tennessee?
I do, because it's at home. And
you're crazy.
That game, take the over on that game. I can't wait to see the over-under on that game. Whatever it is, take the over.
I'm back in Middle Tennessee.
I don't care if it's 80. Take the over.
I'm gonna look to see if there's like somehow.
You're wild for that. That's a crazy take.
Neither of those guys can play defense.
Kev's just gonna casually have an alternate spread play for like minus 75.5.
I am.
What week do they play?
They play.
I don't have the bye week, so I'm assuming.
I don't know what week it is. It's either 5 or 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
I think it's 5 because it doesn't look like they have their bye until later. Anyway.
It's at 59.5. I found an offshore book that had it. They won't let you bet on it. It's locked, but it opened at 59.5.
Take the over. That's too low.
All right, Steve. Final thoughts
and
win total.
Here I go again.
I'm always partial against a team with the mascot owls, but I'm taking 3 wins, and one of those wins will not be Middle Tennessee State.
I'm gonna say 4. I'm with you guys on at least 3 of those, but like they just seem like they love that identity of being the spoiler. Into season, what do they have to play for? They're 3-6, 3-7, and they got all these good teams who are most likely already going to make bowl eligibility by the time they get to the last 3 games of the season, and they just think of this game as a walkthrough, and they could take them out. Kind of like last year with Liberty. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at with them. I'll take a risk on 4 just to spite Kev. And now going to Liberty, looking at their season right now, their win total is line is at 8.5. Conference win total is at 6.5. You can get them to win the conference championship game at plus 140. If you think they're going to go ahead and make it, you can also get them to have a 10-win total season at plus 125. And they don't. It doesn't have any to make the college football playoffs plus 1,000. Right now, looking at their season, Jacksonville State week 2, Maine week 1. To me, nothing notable, but you guys might have different opinions. Out of conference, they have ODU, James Madison, basically just local colleges in Virginia, and Bowling Green. And then they head right into conference play with a 3-week they have a back-to-back. They play New Mexico State on the 14th, back-to-back bye weeks, and the Delaware and Missouri State. So
such a weird schedule.
So with that being said, I'm curious you guys' thoughts. Depending on how you guys still feel on Florida International, could that be a surprise, sneak upset for FIU at home with Liberty basically playing 4 consecutive weeks at home again with 2 of the worst teams in the conference? As we welcome the GOAT himself, the Don Corleone.
It's his music.
Burn it down! All right.
Personally, the only game I'm not sure if they're going to win was at Bowling Green. I think they win all the rest.
Oh,
Liberty.
Wait, you
We're
think
on
they're
Liberty.
going to beat James Madison
Yeah.
in Old Dominion?
Yeah.
hold on. I'm sorry. I'm just coming in here. You think Liberty's going to win 11 games?
I think so.
Are you all right in the head? Have you watched Ethan Vasco play quarterback?
Yeah, man.
That's
my Chanticleers, my fighting Chanticleers.
He stinks.
It was the field. It was messing with his eyes. Now he's going to play on a normal field.
Blaming the field. This guy stinks.
What are we doing here?
Fun fact. Take Liberty's under. They're losing 5 games. They're going 7-5. Don't at me.
You're putting that for your exact prediction?
7-5 exact prediction. That's all I need. I don't need anything else.
Where are their 5 losses? Just so
Where are their 5 losses? I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, just so I can mark them. I want to mark them. So
Absolutely.
I know when to bet them.
Ha ha ha. Good one. First one will be September 6th at Jacksonville State. The disrespect I heard from Jacksonville State is fucking crazy, by the way.
I was the one on Jacksonville State.
Crazy.
I think they're going to be better than people think they're going to be.
Yeah, fucking 8-4, baby. So they'll lose to them. They're going to lose to James Madison. That's 2. Actually, hold on. Let me pull this up because I was writing this down earlier.
You don't think they're going to lose to Bowling Green?
No, I think they'll beat Bowling Green.
Okay.
So I have them losing to Jacksonville State. I have them losing to James Madison. I have them losing to UTEP. I have them losing at Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
And then this is a Steve play right here. Steve, ready for this one?
I'm ready for it.
I got them losing at FIU.
Before you got on, I just said that. I said
He did.
because they play New Mexico State 2 weeks off, and then they have Delaware and Missouri State. Florida International could be a trap.
If FIU, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about when we went over Jackson State win over. I think that could be a sneaky game that Liberty could lose.
I'm letting you know right now. Liberty is not winning the Conference USA. They're gonna fall on their feet. Their head coach isn't good. I don't think he's good.
You don't like Jamie Chadwell?
I don't like him. I'm taking under for their win total.
All right. You said exact total 7, right? 7 wins. Kev, thoughts?
For my exact total?
Yeah. And any final thoughts on Liberty?
Yeah, and I mean, Don put up a convincing case, but I still think they're going to be pretty good this year.
Fucking all that been one.
My final total, I'm going to go 10-2.
10-2 is even fucking crazy. I'll give you 9-3, maybe 8-4. Fucking 10 wins. That team is not even sniffing 10 wins.
Steve.
I'm going 8-4.
All right. I think I'm with Steve there. I'm gonna go 8-4.
You know what they call you, Steve? A yellow belly. A yellow belly where I'm from.
Stand on your facts.
That's not what we talk about.
Listen. The reason I say 8-4 is because that Florida International game.
That's the only game. That's the only difference you have.
That is it.
You literally told me, and I quote, you asked me, you were like, do you think there are a couple teams that could get tripped up down at FIU? Yeah, right there, and you're not agreeing with me. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm saying, it's like, to me, I'm like, that's a tough game. It's a tough game. Listen, I back your Liberty slander because I don't like the Flaming Libs. No one likes the Flaming Libs in Virginia. So
Apparently Kev likes the Flaming Libs. This just in.
And you're right about Vasco.
Kev, big Flaming Lib guy.
Kev, you gotta give it to Don about Vasco.
Oh, I'm pulling that from the thing.
Big
Flaming Lib guy.
Fucking Ethan Vasco. I'd rather throw up in my mouth than watch Ethan Vasco. It's terrible. Oh.
I didn't say he was going to throw.
Because, I mean, they're taking a big hit at quarterback, man.
Yeah.
Salter wasn't that impressive last year.
Salter leaps and
He
bounds.
still won them games, man. Like, can Vasco win them games?
He also lost them that Kennesaw State game.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. If Vasco was on the team last year that won 8 games, how many games does he win with them?
6.
And you think that he's just magically going to win 10 with this year?
Listen,
Why are we right now?
This happened to Kev in College Football 25. He knows it's going to happen. He's prepared.
I'm telling you, it's an eyesight thing. He got some LASIK done. He doesn't have to play on that.
Kev goes
DLP.
to the same eye doctor.
I might even say Ryan Berger might be starting by like halfway through the season.
He doesn't have to.
That's my hot take on Liberty, man. Ryan Berger is going to be a starter.
It's fine. I'll take it either way this goes. It's fine.
You think because they're plus 140, they're just going to win the whole league? You think that's what the odds are telling you?
No, actually, no. I think Western Kentucky is going to win the league.
How many wins are they going to have? Fucking 12?
Well, I think Western Kentucky. No, well, okay. So I think Western Kentucky is going to win the championship game. Like if you're talking about regular season wins, I think Liberty is going to win the regular season. But I think Western Kentucky is going to win the championship.
Hey, Gator, can we go ahead and hop into this Western Kentucky then?
Yeah, I was gonna go LA Tech next, but we can go Western Kentucky.
No, we'll go your order. We'll go your order.
I was going through alphabetical order so I don't lose track.
Before we move on, I would like to throw one stat here. If you look at their schedule, the toughest overall ranked team that they play, Liberty, is JMU. Right? So looking at what I have, their best thing about their offense is their offensive line and their run game. If their run game can get going, this team has potential. I do see, however, that there are some guys that have left in the transfer already that those losses are going to hurt them. Now, when you get to the defensive side of the football, that is where I have my question marks, especially in the secondary, because I don't think they have a lot. They have a plethora of guys, but I just don't see where the talent is enough to compete in a conference like Conference USA, where most teams are, like the Western Kentuckys, are very pass heavy.
All right, so let's go to LA Tech here with a very interesting schedule. Start out at home versus Southeast Louisiana. Then they travel to Baton Rouge for the LSU matchup. Start conference play. Their final two non-conference games are Southern Miss and at Wazoo right before the Liberty game. Win total right now, their over-under is at 5.5. Conference win total is at 4.5. Don, we'll start with you. This will be your first team that you were here when we started it off. What's the look here for LA Tech? Kind of give me an idea of what you see on their season.
I mean, this is a put up or shut up year for Louisiana Tech head coach. Because last year was, I think, their best record that they've had since he's been their head guy. And the only reason they made the bowl game was because Marshall opted out because all of their players were entering the transfer portal. I think they got some talent. I really like the kid Bullock at quarterback for them. I think is solid enough. I think with their air raid style, right, you need receivers that can possess, who can, create enough space. And you're not really relying heavily on your run game. But I think Louisiana Tech has a good chance to mix and match this year. Evan Bullock, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Eli Finley is coming back, their tight end. They have to replace their go-to receiver last year, Trevor, who had 84 catches for them. They're replacing 3 guys on the offensive line, which is going to be a huge hit early on. I think when you look at my write-ups when they all come out, the majority of them have to do with inconsistencies up front because of so many offensive line coming in and out of the portal, so you don't know exactly where that's coming from. I just think overall this team just doesn't have the depth to compete, especially at the offensive level. Defensively, I think up front they are struggling up front for depth. They have 2 or 3 guys that starting wise that are very, very good. Other than that, a lot of guys splitting time. They get back Colby Fields, who is probably their best linebacker at the will. I think for their secondary, I think their big one coming back is Jacob Fields, the junior strong safety. I have them. You said 5.5. I think I have them at 5 and 7. I think 5 and 7 again. I don't think, looking at their schedule, I just think it's really, really tough for them in particular. So when you look at their schedule, right, Southeastern Louisiana should be a win to start us off. At LSU, let's not even have an argument about this. New Mexico State at home. This is a 50-50 game. I think they have 3 50-50 games on the schedule. I think New Mexico State's a 50-50 game. I think at Kennesaw is a 50-50 game. And then I think at Delaware is a 50-50 game. Other than that, I think they get to 5. I have them beat in Southeastern Louisiana. I'll say they beat New Mexico State. They win at Kennesaw. They beat Sam Houston State at home. And they beat I'll say they beat
Missouri State.
Yeah. I was contemplating between them or Delaware. I think they'll lose to Delaware.
Before we get into the rest of the guys, if you guys see our QR code here in the top left, fantasy football, our charity fantasy football signups are now live for Toys for Tots. You can join multiple leagues. We have everything from a ladies league, a league where you can play against me. I believe, I don't know if the other guys are hosting a league, but you can play against a bunch of these other guys on the For Frequency Network. We also have a VIP sports card league hosted by one of the sports card companies in Iowa, where our headquarters is. Each week, the winner of each week will get a random random box rip. And it varies week by week. So make sure you guys can sign up for that one as well if you're a card collector. Now getting back to it, Steve, LA Tech. Are you agreeing with Don here? What's the move?
Can I call 30 second?
30 second.
30 second. It's fucking football season. It's a Wednesday night. Where the fuck is Cheese?
I don't know. He said, I'll try to be on one of these.
He doesn't care about us.
Cal, I want you to know, I care about you enough that I'm worried that you're not here with us. I'm worried that you're not.
This is what happens when you join Moneyline.
All right, Steve Lotzek, what do you got?
Your buddy Joe will be joining soon.
So, the one team they play against that we talked about was Southern Miss. I kind of like Southern Miss this year. I like their coach that came in from Marshall. I think he gets that program right. That's like a toss-up game to me, though. My toss-up games are Southern Miss, UTEP, and Delaware. I think they can beat New Mexico. Lose to West Kentucky. I can't say I have them over like 7 wins right now. Like I don't want to say like that's super bold and it's such a turnaround for Sonny Cumbie right now. I'm not a big fan of Sonny, man. I'm with you, Don. I can't. Sonny Cumbie is just. I don't believe in him, man. I don't believe what he's trying to do.
Elite last name, by the way. Elite last name by Sonny Cumbie. I don't know. Our flaming lip might not like that, but.
What's your prediction?
Give me. They get to a bowl game, not because somebody quit. So give me over 6 wins.
You're crazy.
What's your exact 6, 7?
6.
6 and 6.
Yeah.
Kev?
Exact. I'd go 5 and 7. I think their ceiling is 6 wins.
Kev and I agree on something. I might speak bad news to me, boys.
What was it, Kev?
We agree on a lot. 5 and 7.
That's true. It's because Kev, we have good brains.
As we welcome in our other Gotham.
Whoa! There's 2
the man
Gothams
himself. The man who is getting an HR report off these comments he left previously on the show.
That wasn't him. He's not a Husker Nation guy.
Like Nebraska?
We kept thinking it was you. It's definitely Don then.
Oh, it's not me.
I would never. Like,
come on, bro. You know, Don stabs us in the chest, bro. Don doesn't stab you in the back, bro. Come on.
I don't need no goddamn aliases.
Yeah, bro. Don stabs you in the chest. Get it real.
No, Don would have texted me that.
That even passed my mind thinking that was Don. Come on.
Bro, you kidding me? Maybe I hired the guy, but come from my mouth.
Yeah, I don't have any burner accounts. Not yet anyway. Maybe I should get one. Maybe I should invest.
I think you have one right now because your name
in
is
some
Gotham.
burner accounts.
Yeah, your name's Gotham.
Well, I'm gonna change that, but listen, man.
All right, so we're on to Kev's favorite Conference USA team this season. Middle Tennessee. Right now,
Under.
Win total is set at 4.5. Conference win total is plus money at over 3.5. And looking at their schedule, you're starting the year off at Wisconsin, at Nevada, against Marshall, and then you hit conference play, including road games to Western Kentucky, New Mexico State. Kev, we already heard your piece on this team, so I'm guessing 0-12.
No, not quite that bad, but I'll take the under at plus money.
I just
I
love how
believe
I.
their defense.
I love how I get through here. I get in here, and 5 seconds in, we're talking Middle Tennessee. I mean, it just shows the level never change. I hope this is where you get the good stuff at 10 p.m.
Yeah, we're doing
on the
this,
East.
and then ACC right after.
Let's go.
Let's walk through the schedule, Kev. All right. I want to know. You said how many wins? What is it?
He's got 3. He's got
4.5
so
for
3.5 is the total.
No, 4.5 is the line. It's 4.5.
3.5 for conference. 3.5 for conference wins.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Kev, let's go through the schedule. At home against Austin Peay.
Yeah.
Is that a win or a loss?
Winner.
I'll give that a win.
Okay.
Okay, so 1 win. At Wisconsin, I won't even ask. How about at Nevada?
That's a loss.
Okay. What about at home against Marshall?
That's a toss-up for me.
50-50. We'll say 2 for now. 2 for now with 150-50. At Kennesaw State.
I think Kennesaw State wins that. We talked about that. I mean, you weren't on yet, but I think that's a game first one to 60.
Okay. Home versus Missouri State.
Yeah, they win that.
All right, so I technically have them at 2 with 3 being a 50-50, and we're only on October 8th. At Delaware.
I think that's a loss.
Okay. What about against Jacksonville State?
Loss.
At home. Okay. At home against FIU.
That's a toss-up for me, but I think FIU could catch them.
So we're at 3, maybe 5. At West Kentucky.
Loss.
At home against Sam Houston State.
Loss.
At New Mexico State.
Loss.
All right, so I have he's got 3 and then 2 toss-ups to maybe get to 5. So he's sweating bullets, just so we know.
Yeah, but I like the plus 128 under 4 wins. I'll take that.
I mean, under 4, so under
4.5.
4.5. Okay.
Yeah, it's under 4.5 plus 128.
Oh,
That's what I see right now.
I mean, I Derek Mason struggled last year, and I think he's going to do the same. I like 4 and 8. I'm right there with Kev. I'm just trying to bust balls. I like the under.
I just don't think their defense is going to improve that much. Their defense was horrific last year.
Just saying.
I think we have improvements on the O line. Me and Joe.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, they had a guy that I know started for them last year, transferred to Tulsa. Shout out Simon Wilson. He is no longer a Middle Tennessee Blue Raider. Aren't they the Blue Raiders?
Yeah.
He's now a Golden Hurricane. So shout out to him. I figured that would be my 2 cents here on this Conference USA.
No, I think for them, defensively, I think front 7 great. I think their secondary is what's going to kill them. But Kevin and I are on under 4.5. We think exactly 4 wins. Steve thinks the opposite.
Yeah, give me. They beat Austin Peay. I think they beat Marshall.
If you say 6 and 6,
I think they beat Marshall. I know they're gonna beat Kennesaw. They're gonna beat Missouri State. They're gonna lose. They'll beat Delaware. They'll lose to Jacksonville State. They'll lose to FIU, the fighting Pit Bulls. Lose to Western Kentucky. lose to Sam Houston, beat New Mexico on the road to get to 6 wins. Put me down for 6, Joe.
You're fucking
Bowl
tapped.
eligible, Middle Tennessee State. Let's go. I'm so glad
Where
that
are
this
you?
is the first thing that I came in on.
Where were you when Middle Tennessee was being talked about?
Yeah, where were you? Where were you when? Where were you when?
Where were
Steve,
you?
Where were you when Steve said that Middle Tennessee was going bowling in 2025?
While giving up 50 points per game.
Hey man,
You guys wait and see, man. There's only one way to go.
It's gonna look like that LSU defense from like 3 years ago, but worse. Like, you remember when they would have all their games?
That Boise State defense from last year.
No, they're gonna look like the LSU team last year that played against Texas A&M that second half, the whole year.
All right, man.
oh my god.
Joe, any comments on the Blue Raiders?
I don't think I've got anything for the Blue Raiders, but hey, we're riding. I love that. I love it. I love that this is the type of stuff that you get when you come to us. I know I'm late to the party, but hey, I'm excited. This is great. Who's the consensus favorite in CUSA?
The consensus favorite
Liberty.
by odds is the Flaming Libs.
The Flaming Libs.
The Libs. Shout out to the Libs.
We got a big Hilltopper crowd in here, and then one guy that believes in the Gamecocks. Everybody else not a fan of the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I don't. Trying to think, who would that person be out of the four of you? I'm not sure, but listen.
All right, so next one we got here as we're coming through the rest of this list, Missouri State in their first year of the C-USA. Start the season with USC. First home game is against SMU, and then they have to play Marshall, UT Martin. The Lions are out actually for their first game against USC. Joe, we'll play a little guess the line. Can you guess what that line is?
Oh, let's go. This is where I shine. I'm gonna guess the line. Missouri State at USC week 1. USC laying
7:30 p.m. 7:30 night game too.
7:30 night
Eastern
game.
or
USC.
Pacific?
Oh, Eastern, so midday.
USC laying 42.5.
32.5.
Oh, damn.
You had
That line will 100% jump.
I might take Missouri State plus 32.5. USC stinks.
Their win total is set at 4.5. Their conference win total is set at 3.5. Looking at their schedule, Steve, can Missouri State hit this over?
All right, so fun fact about Missouri State, they haven't beat a FBS team since 1990. So there's something's going to get broken this year, right? They're going to get that dub. Their quarterback, Jacob Clark, averaged over 300 yards a game. They just couldn't get wins, right? They're going to surprise somebody. And that surprise is going to be Marshall, at Marshall. They're going to lose to SMU. They're going to beat UT Martin. They're going to lose to Western Kentucky. You're going to have a tough game against Middle Tennessee, but they're going to lose. That's for Kev.
Kev's going to crash out right now. Look at him.
New Mexico State. I am not high on New Mexico State whatsoever. They're going to beat New Mexico State at New Mexico State.
You just said they haven't beaten an FBS team.
Yeah.
You have them both. How many
gotta
Conference
get over that
USA
hump, bro.
teams do you have bowl eligible?
What's that?
All of them, apparently.
All of them.
How many Conference
Hold on.
USA teams do
I
you have
don't
bowl
have
eligible?
Kennesaw
Everyone's
State.
going to finish the season
I don't
6-6.
have Delaware. I don't have Missouri State. All right, they're just gonna get over the
You don't
line.
have Missouri State, so they're gonna
say.
win. They're gonna be
They're gonna
5-1
win more
and then
games.
lose 6
You said how many games? 3, 4?
4.5. Plus money on the under.
Give me 5. Lock it in.
Don?
Death, taxes, and Steve Benton Conference
five.
USA
Or group
overs.
He's
Group of
changing
5
his
team
conference.
over win
He used to
totals.
be a MAC guy. Now he's a Conference USA guy.
This is what happens when you root for the LIU Sharks. Okay, you start rooting for all these.
Correct. I'll say this. I have Missouri State. If they were able to play in a bowl game, they'd play in a bowl game. I think Missouri State wins 6 games this year.
All right.
I think they go 6-6. I think their defense was a big concern. They lost a couple guys up front. They get 2 former Power Conference guys, and Devon Townley and DJ Solak. They solidify their rush defense and restock at cornerback. I think this team has enough in the tank. Big Jacob Clark guy, like Steve said. So I'm gonna buy into the hype. And if I'm wrong on them year one, oh well. There's always one team that plays really, really well year one in FBS. And I think this is the team.
It is tough though. Like,
Sorry, side note, real quick, Don. I know how much you love your little your alternates. 6+ wins for Missouri State plus 170 on DraftKings.
Just saying. Plus funny. What I'm here for, fellas. Just so you know.
Go ahead, Joe.
Off air, don't worry. I got a college football playoff bet that's plus 470 that you have to take.
yeah, that's what I call teasing. Coming up next, the near plus 5-1 college football playoff parlay that you have to take.
If you want that, I am way higher.
What's up, Jazzy?
Steve and I have talked up here. Oh my boy, Jazz is in here. What's up?
Straight
Dog?
Jazz is back, baby.
Oh damn, we got Jazz in the cut. Damn, we chilling now. Okay, what do you think of Missouri State?
I'm taking the under.
Okay.
More wins than Middle Tennessee, though.
Yeah,
So,
I think they get to 4.
Steve,
Guess
Steve,
the
you know what they
lines
say about haters.
12 and a half weeks in advance when Middle Tennessee and Missouri State play. What's the
The conference championship game.
yeah? What's the line?
if we get a Middle Tennessee Missouri State conference championship, I feel like we're legally required to go to that game.
Click this moment right
We're
here.
the only 5 people there. But we're-
Don't give us press passes.
Listen,
this
if
weekend.
that happens, I'm gonna be hyped.
It's gonna be the Family Guy when they make the WNBA joke and they say the fan goes wild. It's just yay! Like it's gonna be us.
Steve, you know what they say about the haters? They're in the building. Hashtag Heels
Sorry.
909, baby.
I'll be a hater all year on those 2
Yeah.
teams.
And honestly, I want to say I listened to the pod, and I don't know a guy who is such a bigger hypocrite than Kev. A guy who loves Indiana so much. He loves Indiana so much, but he doesn't know that Kyle Schwarber went there, and he's still rooting for Indiana the way that he is.
I knew Kyle Schwarber
Listen,
with Indiana. That has
Went
nothing
over
to
this.
do with
Remember, he
Indiana.
hate crimed a whole generation of people because he called Kyle Schwarber a fucking Indian.
But dots, not feathers, so it's all right.
Wow.
All right, next team. Moving along.
Yeah, move on. All right.
He said, "Can I get $10 on pump 5?" Looking at
New Mexico
Oh, boy.
State. Looking at their schedule, they got Bryant week 1, Tulsa week 2, Louisiana Tech, New Mexico. Their big non-conference game right before UTEP is at Tennessee. What are we looking at here? I'm pulling up their futures now. Over 4.5 wins is where their line's at. Over 3.5 conference wins is plus money.
Let's just stop you there. There's no future in New Mexico State.
Rest
Do you
in
think-
peace, Jerry Kill, and shout out to his family.
Respect, man. Yeah, ever since Jerry left, you got Tony Sanchez? Sanchez
Yeah.
there?
Sanchez.
Yeah, bro. He's gonna get fired at the end of the season.
It's only his second year. I don't think he's gonna get fired after year 2.
Well,
How many games do you think they're gonna win this year?
5.
What? Break
You
this
think
down.
they're going to win 5 and Middle
5
Tennessee?
games? Go by all means. Kev can start us off.
Steve, I love how you're looking exactly at him too. Like
They get Missouri State and Middle Tennessee at home.
Yeah, no, Missouri State will beat them because fucking and
Yeah.
Dude, I will pay for us
They're
to go to
beating
Middle
Bryant.
Tennessee and watch Middle Tennessee beat the shit out of New Mexico State.
If Middle Tennessee is bowl eligible, Kev has to go like shirtless, blue Raider paint over his whole body, like sit in the student section.
If Middle Tennessee, no, I'm not going that far. If
And he
Middle
has to get 5 of his buddies to have Cumby painted across their chest.
no.
Gotta hold up a sign that says I love
if
Cumby.
Middle Tennessee gets bowl eligible, I will buy their jersey and wear it on one of our shows.
Boy, this man gonna be sweating. Can't wait.
Kev's gonna get a Middle Tennessee Kyle Schwarber combination tattoo.
All right, give me the 5 wins here, bro.
All right.
I don't know about the 5. I got 4 and 8.
All right,
Let's put it
Kev.
this way. Hold on. Let me put it this way. I like their quarterback. They bring in Logan Fife from Montana. I think he's very good. Other than that, this team stinks. Their offensive line's the best part about it. All skill players stink. Defensively, they're decent up front on the front 7. Secondary's weak, and the depth after that is just. So I'll give you. They'll beat Bryant. They'll beat Kennesaw State at home. They'll beat Sam Houston State at home. And they'll win at New Mexico.
Bless you.
I'll give them 4 wins. Bryant, New Mexico State, Sam Houston, Kennesaw State. That is what I'll give you, and that is what you'll like.
I mean, I think all their wins are at home. I think they beat Bryant. I think they beat Sam Houston. I think they beat Missouri State. I think they beat Kennesaw State, and I think they beat Middle Tennessee.
Man, I want Sam Houston to be good, but they're not gonna. I mean,
And they could beat New Mexico. That's a rivalry game. New Mexico could be looking down.
New Mexico also kind of.
They're not that good. Yeah.
So that's our next team. If you guys want to segue into it, is Sam Houston. Win total is also set at 4.5. You can get the under at plus money. Conference win total is set at 3.5. They play Western Kentucky week 0 before the schedule of UNLV, Hawaii, Texas, and Oregon State mixed in there. Is this another 3-win team? 4-win team here?
Well, let's put it this way: they won 10 games last year because their defense alone. So you got to expect that their defense is going to be somewhat good. Their longtime offensive coordinator now becomes their head coach. What kind of thing does he bring to this team? I'm curious to see. I mean, just to give a couple thoughts, because I want to get into the ACC team because that's where the majority of my notes are. But Hunter Watson's a great quarterback, and I think he's going to succeed again for Sam Houston State. I think they have a bunch of 50-50. And what did you say the win total was at 4.5?
4.5, and you get it's like minus 160.
I mean, they're going to win more than 4 games. Whether it's Hunter Watson, whether it's Mabry Mature from Wisconsin, whoever starts from at quarterback, I'm very high on. I like this offense. I think their offensive line's good. They have, I think, 4 guys returning last year, and you know how I feel about offensive lines that come back and return. I think they play a big part in success early on. I will take Sam Houston State. I think they'll get over their win total. I think there's a chance that they'll play for Phil Longo, their longtime coach. I think there's a chance that they win 7 games. I'll tell you what,
Joseph?
Steve. I don't think one of them will be Texas.
We were talking about it before you got on. You know, Steve said no. The good thing with the show being on Wednesday is no Texas games this season, so we don't got to worry about that. But New Year's Eve, if they make a playoff game, is on a Wednesday.
This man thinks I'm gonna be spending New Year's Eve podcasting. I'm just that's a bold.
I didn't say we'd be doing it sober.
Do it for the content.
I know, right?
You know what? I'll just keep
Just
a live
hammer
stream
it.
up of just an empty
Hey,
room.
Joe,
like,
yeah. Bro, I'm gonna be sloshed, man. As long as
Yeah,
that's fine
okay.
with you, bro.
Steve, I'll do it with you. We'll do it together. Steve and I will do the show live together, sloshed.
we'll come up
In
with
a
like
hotel room in fucking Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. For
We'll
all I
come-
fucking care. I don't care.
a drinking like bingo card, like for the game.
Don't even need a game to drink, bro. Just
Ooh, actually, Steve, I need to talk to you because there's a chance that I go see Texas football play. Texas versus
When?
Texas A&M. There's a chance I go to Texas versus Texas A&M this year.
you'll be down in. See, that's a tough ass, man. That's a day after Thanksgiving. My family will understand.
Bro,
Oh, I'm not going to be podcasting on New Year's
bro,
Eve.
Steve, Steve, look at me.
Oh,
Hold on, Steve, look at me when I say this. Fuck my family. I don't care. I will go to there's a high chance that I go for Texas A&M that Friday.
It'll be a great weekend.
I already have people down there that are asking me to come down again. Just saying, I have a grand old time down in and I need to see Arch play before he goes in the league.
Here we go.
so you can say you were there.
I saw
Like I was there. I witnessed.
Arch Manning play. I was there, Sonny.
Joe, thoughts on the Bearcats?
Go team. That's where I'm at. Sorry, I was deeply invested in hoping the Cubs don't completely screw this, which they didn't. Not yet, anyway. So, double go team.
Go team.
I think something to remember
Alright,
for Sam Houston though is their stadium is under construction. They're going to be playing in Houston, which is
So they're going to
not-
be Are they going to be playing at the university?
I'm not 100% sure. I think so, maybe, but they're not. That's not a close commute.
What if they made them play at like some high school? I'm sure
I
it's
mean,
big
they-
enough.
Probably nicer
No,
than
I
their
mean,
college.
I was about to say
stadium.
they probably should have done that.
14,000 person stadium in Texas.
Yeah,
what
they
I'm
probably
saying,
should
like,
have
let it
done
rip.
that.
I was gonna say they have stadiums that can hold my entire hometown, and then some. So we could push through these last two unless you guys got. I mean, we probably be able to push through one of these, and then I know you guys are going to want to talk about the other. So UTEP win total is set at 5.5. Non-conference schedule of Texas, UT Martin, Utah State, and Monroe, Louisiana Monroe.
They're not even playing at a cool stadium, Kev. They're playing where the Houston Dynamo play. Fucking boo.
They have, the
Fucking
college was
boo.
it Huntsville. Huntsville's like an
boo.
hour and some change away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a 70-mile drive. Like that's.
Like 70
I think that's
miles.
gonna hurt.
I drove from Cincinnati to fucking Massachusetts in 13 hours. Fucking
I,
nuts.
that's,
70
I'm not
miles.
saying they can't do it. I'm just saying that's
Cool
that's a
kids.
ways
Yeah,
to
guys,
go
sorry.
to
70
play a home
miles,
game.
man. It's an hour
All
and a
their-
half.
basically
Yeah,
all their
money
games are
goes to
road
charter
games.
buses.
But
75. All right, UTEP. I got you real quick.
UTEP.
UTEP has former 5-star recruit Malachi Nelson right now currently listed as their backup. If these, I'm telling you, if these motherfuckers have never even sniffed a 5-star recruit. If these guys don't start Malachi Nelson, there's no hope for this kid. Zero. There's zero hope for this kid. If he doesn't start at UTEP,
He's the
There's
cat that
zero.
washed out.
Wait,
at
they
USC,
have
right?
Skyler. They have Skyler over him.
yes, currently. I don't know what. That's what my notes have. Just so everybody's aware.
By the way, this is his third team in 3 years. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I have
Maybe he's
no
the
idea.
problem.
I have no idea how good this kid is or not. To be
As
honest with you,
someone who was very high on Boise State because Malachi Nelson fully went there, and Malachi Nelson didn't start a game for them,
right?
made my heart hurt a little bit because I was right but wrong at the same time.
Yeah,
I got the
Gotham,
I
let me
got
go
the
through
full
this
wins. I
quick,
think they're
man.
40.
Give me UTEP probably. Give me 7 wins. Give me 7 wins.
You're fucking tapped. Stop.
Y'all
Move on.
are
Move on. Bro, they're not winning more than 4
Hey,
games. Stop.
heavy.
Please stop. Please stop.
Give me them boys in El Paso 7 wins.
Are they beating
Don
Texas?
wants
Is that what
Don wants Steve to fill out a composite, a full composite CUSA schedule so all his win totals can match up.
I want Steve to tell me what his bankroll looks like that he's going to go into and start fucking building off of these because I'm going to make a field day fading this fucker. If he thinks guys like fucking UTEP are going to win 7 games.
Steve-
Hold on. Hear me out.
Steve
Hear me
looked
out.
at his
Hold on,
schedule.
hold on.
Steve looked at his schedule, and he secretly has both Kennesaw and UTEP winning against each other.
Hear me out. You're
That's
right.
why the win
Start
total's
season,
so up, baby.
Utah State, they're gonna win that.
They're not
UT
beating
Martin,
Utah State.
they're gonna
Not
win
beating
that one. Texas, they're gonna put up a fight in the first half and then
You
get blown
fucking
out in the
stop.
second half.
Will you fucking stop? You think that team's going to compete with your Texas Longhorns for 1.5?
Bevo
Are you
intensifies.
You already had. I
You know what? Take those horns off your wall.
Danny,
Take those
Danny,
horns after your
Danny,
wall.
Listen, I've
I've heard
been
enough.
watching
I've heard
Texas
enough.
all my life. The
This
way
guy
these
has
games
been-
always start
Steve
against
needs a
Texas El
timeout.
Paso is it looks kind of shady in the first quarter, right? Then we go, what the hell is this? Then we realize who we are. Then we beat their ass.
Oh yeah, fucking
But-
yeah. UTEP covered.
So
fucking
week
first
3,
quarter
I'm
plus
expecting
14.5.
a UTEP plus money or to cover the spread bet
In
from
the
you
first
I mean, if
quarter,
he's
absolutely.
as your
35,
play of the day.
then, bro, I don't touch my team. I don't bet on my team.
Oh,
Hey,
okay. There
lock it
is.
in right now. Lock in those lyrics. UTEP plus 9.5 first quarter against Texas, week 3.
I'm clipping it out. 1 hour 27 minutes.
You know what? I'll put my money where my mouth is. I will take UTEP first quarter spread.
And he'll do it live on air to
Not
make
a-
sure it covers.
Not a fucking chance.
That's gonna
You
be
remember
his.
to think
Hey, that's gonna be his leg of the Sinister Six that week. Is the UTEP spread in the first
And Don's
quarter.
gonna walk off
It's
stage.
gonna be the only one that wins. Watch. Oh my god.
He's gonna go 1-36 that Saturday, and it's gonna be because he bet first quarter. Sitting there like Pascal Siakam. Ooh.
Oh my god.
Can we move on? Because UTEP's,
All right.
UTEP's fucking tapped. I can't believe you just said that.
Kev, I'll start with you on our last one here. The Hilltoppers. They got Sam Houston week 1. Out of conference schedule is North Alabama, Toledo, Nevada, and LSU on the second to last week of the season. Where do you have Western Kentucky at?
So I got Western Kentucky at 9-3. I'm taking the over. Right now I got it at 7.5 on FanDuel. I think they're going to be a solid team. They're bringing in an offensive coordinator and the quarterback from the same team. I think this is a team, as we said at the beginning of the year, that has basically the most transfers in this conference every year and still finds a way to win 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think they win 9 this year. And as we discussed earlier, I think they come out and win the conference championship in the not in the season as far as win totals, but in the championship game.
I mean, listen, no one bets on regular season winner. They bet on conference championship. I like Western Kentucky in the odds. I have them at 8-4. I just think they slip up one of these games. I think they lose to Toledo. I think they lose to LSU, and then I think they'll lose. Well, I had it. I think they'll lose to La Tech, maybe, and then Nevada. But I think they have 2 losses in conference, if that, maybe 1.
I wouldn't even. I'm like just looking at the schedule now. I think that FIU game might. I don't think they'll lose it, but I think that might be a trap because it's right between like Delaware and Louisiana Tech on the road.
My thing is, I identify traps until the season's playing. Once the season gets going, I can tell you I can sniff a trap game from a mile away. But if I'm trying to predict it now on July 2nd, we're gonna have a problem.
By the way, their opening lines for week 0 are up. They are Western Kentucky is 9.5-point favorites over Sam Houston at home. Over under is 61.5.
Kind of like Sam Houston to cover that.
Kind of like the under on that too.
You don't think it's gonna be a high scoring affair?
I mean, Sam Houston did have to replace a ton of people on defense, so maybe, but I just know they were pretty good last year on defense.
Well, the good news is Western Kentucky's bringing in a quarterback and offensive coordinator, like you said, from a school that basketball-wise beat somebody in the first round once upon a time. Dabbling Christian, Steve. They beat your fucking Texas Longhorns.
That's a deep cut.
You know,
R.I.P. Shaka Smart, and shout out to his family.
It's good to be back here after 2 weeks of not having a show.
Yeah, Don's had 2 weeks of pent up jokes.
And I've had some.
Listen,
And I've had some liquids.
I'm
Some
fading
liquids.
Kev and Don. That's the theme of the C-USA here.
You gonna fade us?
I mean, he has to if he's got Middle Tennessee being bowl eligible. He's got to have some team not bowl eligible. So
You know what my favorite thing is? Steve and I talked about this earlier this week, and he goes, "Yeah, nah, I'll be all right." Let's move on. I need to see Joe contribute here. Let's move on to the ACC.
All right.
I'm ready to contribute.
I just
Spent an hour and a half talking about Conference USA. Let's
All right, let's get to it. Yeah. All right.
Haven't I contributed with my hilariously timed jokes? Come on now.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm football related. I should.
Don, are you trying to say I'm freeloading, or is that what you're saying?
No, incorrect. I meant more of football talk, not of comedic timing.
Right.
Comedic timing has been on point so far.
We have to be good at
We're
something.
proud of you, Joe.
I'm proud of myself.
All right.
I'm proud of you being proud of yourself.
You want to know? Can I tell y'all a quick story about how to be bad, or the highs and lows of telling people about gambling picks? You know that it's not your night when at 11 p.m. on a Friday you have typed up in a Google Doc, Topuria KO Pantoja sub parlay at plus 437, and then you do some in-depth analysis instead of trusting your gut, and you just backspace on the Pantoja sub and put Pantoja decision at plus whatever it was.
My favorite Joe.
I wanted to kill myself.
My favorite Joe story. I gotta tell this one real quick. I know Don's gonna love this. Is when you were arguing with those dudes on TikTok for like 3 days over a UFC fight.
No, okay.
So Joe says, and now I'm telling this one. Joe says, I'm gonna post my locks. And he goes on TikTok.
I
and he
did not mean it like that at all. I said I'm posting my picks.
And he put Bo Nickel minus 4,000.
1,000. It was 1,000. I said I'm posting my picks. I posted because the thing is, I posted picks for every fight. So I was like, here's locks, here's upsets, here's the main event.
It was our most viewed video because everyone was just going to town on him for taking a minus 1,000. And after every fight, he would go back in the comments. What the fuck you gonna say now? I got it right, bitch.
I picked every fight. Every fight.
Did he? I mean, what did you want him to lie?
Did he
win?
Yeah, did he win? I mean,
they were like minus 1,000. What's
I
this?
also
like, well, it's
to counteract that balance, I wrote an article that we posted Saturday to tell people to bet on a guy who was plus 1,000. That didn't go well. I digress. Regardless, we're here now. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
All right, Boston College.
First chance I had to talk about that since
we're starting ACC. We're talking Boston.
I'm going in alphabetical order.
Oh,
don't go no.
All right.
Can you sort it by the actual win total? Can you do that?
No, I'm just doing it off ESPN.
DraftKings doesn't allow you to fucking do it. You have to search by fucking team to find their win total.
Oh, that's stupid.
Hang on.
I'll
do it on action. Give me
I'm
a second.
assuming.
All right.
I mean, we can start with Boston College. I'm just giving you shit.
Oh yeah. So I can go off the future betting odds for conference championship winner off Action, or I can go off ESPN's
Just go
alphabetical order.
alphabetically.
Which
It's
one?
fine. Just go
right.
alphabetically. It's fine.
Boston College. Fordham to start the season. Over under win total is plus money at 5.5. They got Michigan State, UConn. Before getting into conference play, I think this team is just going to be horrendous this year. So I mean, but I'm the novice here compared to you guys. Where you guys put them at?
You watch your tone. Speaking about Bill O'Brien and Boston College football, there, bud.
You want to go to their game against Fordham? Tickets are as low as $5 right now.
Dude, why? I can go see literally Notre Dame, SMU, Clemson. I can see any of those and pay fucking nothing because my buddy is Bill O'Brien's like, hey, I'm your right-hand guy. So we're fine. But what I will say is this team's going to win 4 games. Under is 100% a lock. I think they have a couple 50-50 games. But their 4 wins that I have, and I know Kev's going to disagree with me on a couple because I listened to the pod the other night. Fordham for sure. I think they beat California at home. I think they beat UConn, which I think is a 50-50, but I think they can win that game. And then I think their one road win, Pittsburgh. I think they.
You think they'll be dogs? Do you think they'll be dogs at Stanford, or then?
No, I think they're going to be favored at Stanford. Stanford's going to be dog money, and it's going to be an easy. So let's put it this way. I think both squads, will be 1-1 going into that game. If Stanford's the favorite just because they're at home, I'm going to take Stanford. But there's no way that you can tell me that Bill O'Brien and this group shouldn't be at least a 2.5 to 3 point favorite against that Stanford. I would take Stanford at home.
Stanford's got Hawaii and BYU right before that game.
I think they beat Hawaii, lose to BYU.
Yeah, which they'll probably go 1-1.
Even without Retzlaff at quarterback.
Yeah.
But I think for BC, they have Grayson James who came in from FIU last year, looked good. Dylan Longren has been really, really good in camp. Might be a chance that he starts over him. But their running game, you have Turbo Richard, who by far one of the best names in college football because his name's Turbo. And then Jordan McDonald will be a 1A, 1B. They'll split carries. They rebuild their offensive line. Defensively, they lose their 2 top defensive linemen, which stinks. But they held opponents to 3.6 yards of carry last year. I think Bill O'Brien's defense will be good. They just need the secondary to tighten up, and they could win some games. But I think they go 4-8.
Joe?
Oh, God. So this win total might hinge on the Stanford game. So they're 4.5. They're going to beat Fordham. What are their locks? Fordham? They play
Fordham,
Wake. Wake sucks.
Stanford.
They don't play Wake.
That's the thing. Is Stanford a 50-50 game or is Stanford?
Fordham is their locks.
Stanford's a 50-50 game. Cal's a 50-50 game for me.
UConn.
So
based just off that, I would say under.
I just think that there's a chance that they win the road game at Pitt. Just because I've agreed with Kev's point. Pitt starts off really, really hot. I think they'll be good, but I think there's going to be times this year where they're going to be a little banged up, and I think a team like BC can take advantage of that.
Well, what part of the season they play them?
They
middle
play
with Pat Narduzzi teams.
They play Pitt week 6, I think.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Pat Narduzzi teams just nosedive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's right at that. They play them right at the tipping point. Is when they play.
So you know what, Don? You might
also play them right before they play.
That might be the start of the downfall for Pitt for the season, like they normally do. And yeah, I can see that. I mean, 4 wins, capping that at 4 wins, that's fine. But I'm with it with that one if he's calling the Pitt game, because I have Fordham win, a Stanford win, a UConn win. That Pitt game makes too much sense. That feels like the Narduzzi drop.
Yeah. Well, you like Cal against them?
Well, it's like a toss-up game.
Okay.
I think that's going to be 2.5, 3.5 point spread. Just because Cal's coming over, right?
Yeah.
Cal's
Yes,
coming
that
to
makes a trip.
BC.
Cal's going to
Cal going across the country.
I still think Cal's a better team, but it's
I do and I don't, and I'll explain why when we get into Cal next.
That
Yeah,
woke
and that-
agenda. The woke agenda doesn't fly first class.
The Cal game is at Boston
Algorithm?
College. It's their third road game in the first 5 weeks. And it's right after Minnesota and San Diego State.
I mean San Diego State. It's actually
So their
pretty far
ceiling
five,
is
actually.
maybe 5, right?
Yeah, I don't think they win more than 5 this year. I think there's a chance next year if they get the guys that they want that they can go back and get to like 6-6. But like, Bill O'Brien just doesn't have the resources or the assets to get what he had at Penn State for Boston.
Right. I think as long as he can win, not 7 games this year, but 7 games next year, I think they'll be happy at Boston College.
They'll be fun. Listen, they have him. He'll probably have that job for as long as he wants. Kev, do you have anything else to add?
I just think their defense won't be as good. They lost. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce his name, but they lost the all conference guy, led the league in sacks.
Yeah.
And multiple other defensive linemen. I just don't see this defense being as good as it was last year. I mean, I'm with you. I think the under it's not even that bad of a number. I think it's like -128. I think that's a lock that they're under 5.5.
It would be like a confident thing that I would take, but I can't bet on it because I'm in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
It's part of the reason why I said 10-2 on Liberty because I can't bet on them.
coward. You know what?
Now going.
Hold on, Steve. You know what they call him back in my neck of the woods?
They
Like
call
Yellow
him Yellow Belly.
All right. Next one here is in honor of our good friend who we've been missing on the show and said he was coming back, but
Yeah.
talking about Cal. Cal win total future is set at 5.5 at +110. Under is -130. Out of conference schedule is Oregon State, Texas Southern, Minnesota, San Diego State. Joe, I'll start with you on this one. Are we buying the over, the under? I wanted to add their conference win total is set at 2.5.
That's way too.
Let's go under 5-7 for the Calgarithon. 5-7 for the one Power 5. 5-7 for the one FBS win that the team I cheer for had last year.
I think the one thing I want to say about the Cal team last year is they won 6 last year, but the 5 losses that they had were all by 1 score. Wilcox traditionally carries good secondaries. They lost a ton in the secondary defensively. They're bringing in Jaden Mickey and Ryan Yates from Notre Dame and LSU, and then Zika Masses from FIU, which is huge. I think up front they're going to be solid. Offensively, this is where I think their struggle is. They bring in Brian Harsin, the former head coach of the Auburn Tigers, who kind of stinks. They don't have Jaden Knott. They don't have Fernando Mendoza. For running backs, they have LJ Johnson from LSU and Kendrick Raffaello from NC State. I think they're going to be like a 1A and 1B. If the offensive line can obviously keep their quarterback not on the ground because they gave up almost 50 sacks last year, I think definitely hurt them.
Their whole O-line is practically new except for their.
They have a talented freshman coming in. I won't even attempt to say his name because it's way too long and way too many vowels.
Oh, the kid who decommitted from Oregon, right?
Correct. Jaron Kui Sagapulu.
Yeah, from Hawaii.
LA.
I thought you weren't going to attempt.
He could get the
He
could
you fucking
win the job.
piece of garbage.
From where?
He's
Oh,
from
yeah,
Hawaii,
don't mention that. Don't mention
From Hawaii,
that.
Steve.
No, we don't want to mention that.
But I think they'll start off with Devin Brown. I think Brown struggles early, and I think Wilcox goes right to that freshman to see what he's got. I think they win 5 games. I think they win Texas Southern, at San Diego State, Virginia. Shout out Kev. at Stanford, and then the surprise win that I think they have is I think at home they beat the Duke Blue Devils this year.
Yeah, I could see that because
5 and 7.
a lot of the North Carolina schools had a lot of trouble when they went to the West Coast.
I got North Carolina winning out there, but I have Duke losing. Not biased, I promise.
Steve, Kev.
I mean, a lot on Cal for them will depend on how they do in those first 4 non-con games. If they can find a way to go 3-1, I think they can get to 6 wins. I don't know if they can beat Minnesota, even though Minnesota's coming to them.
PJ Fleck team, man, I'm down with my guy with that tie.
Like I'm pretty high on Minnesota, and I think they lose to Oregon State. So I think they start out 2-2. Boston College is a toss-up game. Games you have to travel all the way out there. And then, as Don just said, you do get Duke and North Carolina coming to your place in between a bye week as well. So, they should be able to steal one of those games. Not really high on Virginia Tech, but again, the travel is going to kill them. They should beat Virginia. I think they're better than Stanford. And then SMU should win that game, but that could be a surprise game too, potentially. If I had to take something, I'd take the under on 5.5, but I'd probably just stay away from Cal.
Anything else before we move on?
No, let's talk about the big dog.
Let's talk about the Tigers. Clemson Tigers. Win total is set at 9.5. You can get them to you actually can, if you do an alternate and do 10 plus, you get it at minus 140 instead of minus 175. Projected to make the playoffs. You can get them to make the title game at minus 170. Projected at at least 7 conference wins. LSU, Troy, Furman, South Carolina is their out-of-conference schedule. They got to travel to Louisville, home games against SMU, Duke, Florida, and Syracuse in conference. And they have to travel. They have to play at South Carolina for the last game of the season. Steve, we can start with you on this one. What's the drop on the Tigers?
I'm already going to smash that over 9.5. Definitely, because that's what you're taking here. LSU game is one of the toss-up games. They only have, honestly, on this schedule, they have, I would say, 3 tough games. LSU, SMU, South Carolina. I think they beat SMU. LSU, I'm torn because I think LSU has the best quarterback in the SEC this year. But with the way Dabo is building his team, not really taking advantage of the transfer portal. He does have a transfer starting, so he does have a few guys that came in this year. This is essentially year 3 for the guys that are on his team. Year 2 or year 3. And his defense-wise, I mean, he's going to have a bunch of juniors and mostly juniors and sophomores starting. He's going to have the best quarterback in the ACC in Cade playing. Give me 11 wins.
I think that's definitely on the table.
I think it's on the table.
Huh?
I said I think it's on the table, but I think he's overlooking the certain.
Is the LSU game a neutral or a home game?
I think
it's a home game.
It's a home game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that might, like, if you were trying to say, so it's 9.5. You were trying to say 11. Like, if you were trying to 10.5 it, like if you're going to say they were going to go 11-1. That LSU game obviously is going to be the one because them going to South Carolina will be pretty tough. Though, Who knows? That might be a game between 2 top 10-ish teams in the final week of the year. Their toughest, all their tough games in league play, all their tough games in general outside of the South Carolina game are at home. LSU's a home game.
Well, there's the Louisville game that's sitting there.
Louisville
Oh yeah,
game
true. They
at
go to
Louisville.
Louisville. You're right. My bad. On a Friday, so they go to Louisville on a Friday. But outside of that, they got Duke at home, SMU at home, Florida State at home. Though Florida State, who knows? We'll talk about them here certainly. So yeah, I think 9.5 is I mean, it's one of those definitely right there at the numbers, and I think overs. There's a much better chance they go 10-2 than 9-3. I would say.
I mean, I think we're overlooking at Georgia Tech too. Personally, I mean, I agree with Steve. I think Clemson probably does go 11-1, if not undefeated. But remember, Georgia Tech took Georgia to what 6-7 overtimes. If Haynes King is healthy, Haynes King's one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC.
Good point.
That could be a tough game too. So
I don't
That's a good
disagree
point.
with anything that anybody has said. The one game that I feel like people are just overlooking off the rip is Louisville. I think Louisville is going to beat Clemson this year. I have Clemson at 10-2. I think Georgia Tech is going to play them close. I don't disagree with you, Kev. I just think that Cade Klubnik is going to do enough to get the job done there against that secondary from Georgia Tech. If this game was played, if they were playing at Georgia Tech in like week 6 or 7, I would have a completely different outlook on it. But because it's within the first 3 weeks and Georgia Tech is going to try to get that secondary group together, I think that Clemson can take advantage of it. But what I do think is that Cade Klubnik is going to be the best quarterback in the ACC, and I think that Miller Moss is going to outplay him on a Friday night at Louisville, and Louisville beats them. So I think 10-2 is the floor for this team. I think the ceiling is 12-0, but I like the LSU too much.
I think the floor is 9-3. I think that's South Carolina, LSU, and then potentially losing to Georgia Tech or Louisville.
They're not going to – South Carolina, Lenore Sellers and company, they're going to put up a fight, but there are way too many people that are high on them. I think they're great at what they do. I think that there's a chance that they'll get a New Year's Six game, like a college football playoff game, but they're not at the level to compete for a quote-unquote national title like people are expecting them to. And I think Clemson, it'll just be like last year. It'll keep it close, and then Clemson will pull away at the end. If you asked me this 3 years ago, I would not be trusting Cade Klubnik in any capacity, but he's an entirely different ball player than he was his first couple of years at Clemson.
He definitely seemed to turn a corner last year, right? Like, yeah. I don't know what the true watermark of, I don't know where the Mendoza line would be on when he finally kind of figured it out, but definitely he turned the corner. The question is, like, always for me with them is, do they have enough game breakers at the perimeter positions to win in the biggest spots? I thought that some of their younger guys last year really stepped up. Will they be able to continue to have that growth? Will be interesting. I definitely think they are. This is the best they have been set up in years.
I agree with you. I think also the reason why I don't have them going as undefeated is they don't have a bell cow back. Phil Mafaa was a big part of that offense last year. They don't have that guy that can take the ball 20 to 25 times and take pressure off Klubnik. So I think more pressure is going to be on Klubnik's shoulder, which I think hurts them in the first game, and I think it hurts them later down the road against Louisville.
Are they going to be starting the freshman at running back?
I think by Syracuse, maybe. But they'll probably start
Keith Adams.
Maybe no. They'll probably start they might start Gideon Davidson, actually. I mean, it would be a good test to start him at LSU to see what he got, and then you throw Keith Adams out there. I mean, he's a true freshman, so we'll see. But I just also think their defense is too good.
That's the thing. Their defense is going to be – it should be really good.
Still got T.J. Parker and Peter Woods up front. That's just all you need. And then Avion Terrell in the secondary.
All right. Next one we got is the Duke Blue Devils. I know, disgusting from all of us. Win total
Hold
is set
on.
at
Not
win
so
total-
fast, my friend.
Win total is set at 6.5. To make the title game is plus 900. Conference win total is set at 4.5 at plus money. Looking at their schedule, you got Elon, Mr. Wink, one of Mr. Winkle's favorite teams in week 2, Illinois, Tulane, and UConn in their non-con schedule. Steve, I'll give you the floor. What do you got on the puke?
I'm doing this like reverse jinx thing, man. Listen, I'm gonna believe in Manny Diaz. One thing about Duke that's gonna be consistent is their defense, and that's what Manny Diaz. He is the defensive coach. He's gonna have that defense ready to go. Looking at their schedule, all we have to do is get over 6.5. Elon's a win. Illinois, I'm high on Illinois, so that's going to be a loss.
Now, supposedly you watch your tongue if you think that the Duke Blue Devils are beating the Illinois Fighting Illini. Am I right?
You're goddamn right.
I think they get the game against Tulane. I think they beat NC State. I think they beat Syracuse at Syracuse. I think they beat Cal at Cal. The Georgia Tech game. That's a toss-up. I'll put that in the loss column. Clemson, I'll put in the loss column. UConn, I would put in the win column. That's 6. They got UVA after UConn. That's 7. Then they play North Carolina and finish at Wake Forest. So ceiling on this team is 8 wins. I think they get to 7. You can put me down for 7 for the Duke Blue Devils.
And it's what, the 5.5?
6.5.
6.5 at
Wait a minute.
plus
Wait a minute. Steve.
at minus
You
160.
talking all this hype. You think they're only going to win 7 games?
What do you mean all this hype? I'm just trying to get over a win total here, man. Absolutely.
Dude, do yourself a favor. Fucking go on FanDuel. Go to the line that says 8+ wins, and you get Duke right there at plus 110.
If you take under 6.5, it's plus 140.
They're going to win more. They're going to win more than 7 games. Let's put it this way: they're going to lose to Illinois. They're going to lose to Clemson. They're going to lose the 2 road games that Steve said, Syracuse and California. They'll beat Georgia Tech because they're at home. This team, Darian Mensah is a fucking menace. And the fact that they got him with Jaquez Moore coming back, that offense is going to be legit. They bring 6 starters back on defense, especially in the secondary. I think their defense is going to be the best part about this team. As great as Darian Mensah is, I think their defense is legit. I think up front, all around talent. When it comes to depth, basically in their front 7, specifically for offensive linemen, they can't target one player because they literally had an entire unit of driving force, whether they were subbing guys in and out. Linebacker room, getting a guy like Trey Freeman back is huge. I think secondary, Chandler Rivers is big time. Terry Moore is big time. Caleb Weaver is big time. They have a bunch of big time players. After that, if one of those step down, I think that's where they're in a little trouble. But I think Duke overall, I think they can win 8 games. So 8 or more wins at plus 110, I think is a must take for this Manny Diaz team because I'm really high on Darian Mensah, and I think that they get what is probably one of the easier schedules in the ACC.
That's a thing to look out for too. Especially when you do these conference, and usually the ACC has them more than others. Like I think last year even though Kyle McCord was awesome, Syracuse benefited from like a pretty good layup schedule at times. So like the ACC is usually one of those where it's like, all right, well, who's gonna? I think Louisville's probably the team this year that has that in the ACC, where it's like you just look at their schedule and go, okay, well, their floor is X amount of wins. I don't know if Duke has that because they do have to go. I mean, they got Illinois in the non-con. They got to go to Syracuse. They got to go to Cal. They got to go to Clemson. So those are some tough ones. But then obviously you have your cupcakes like Wake, who's horrendous. You've got you get Virginia at home, which is one that or that should be very, very winnable. 6.5. I'd love it if it was at 5.5. But because I think their floor probably is 6. Like I think their floor is 6-6. But this is a team that might have a higher floor, but they probably don't have a high ceiling. This is the old case of the one-story house. So I think if it is over, it's barely, like Steve was saying, 7-5. I would probably say for this team.
Kevin.
Yeah, I think there's more variance here. Personally, I think their ceiling is 9-3, but I think their floor is 5-7. That their defense last year was one of the better ones. They were 6-1 in one-score games. I think Darian Menza can help with that as far as not having so many one-score games and not have to be in a lot of tight battles, which is why I think their ceiling is 9-3 because of him. I worry if they get into those battles again because it's hard to sustain back-to-back seasons where you're in all these close games and have such a good record in those games. So that's the one thing that worries me about Duke. But I will agree. I think they probably end up finishing 7-5 or 8-4.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next team here. It's been 2 years since Joe's very public crash out on a live stream with this team. I wish I had the clip, but DJ deleted it off my thing. The Florida State Seminoles start the season with Bama, East Texas A&M, Kent State, and Florida as their non-con schedule. Home games against Miami, Pitt, Wake, and Virginia Tech, and on the road for Virginia, Stanford, Clemson, NC State, and Florida. Joe, I'll start with you. These are your boys. With Castellanos at the helm, are they hitting the win total of 6.5?
Talking trash already.
Talking big game.
I have 7.5.
Was it plus money?
Listen.
Yeah, plus 180.
Yeah, I got mine's minus 150 at 6.
All right. So here we go. Okay. Listen, I mean that win total is going to cash when you win week 1, right? I will say this. If somehow, some way they pulled that out of their ass, which, listen, it would be literally the second FBS team that they have defeated since that fateful night. We all remember it. It would be revenge for us getting sent to the depths of hell for the sake of TV ratings 2 years ago. Just throwing that out there. I would feel vindicated. If they went 1-11 and their only win was Alabama, I'd feel vindicated. I'd be like, honestly, I could rest easy at night. Here's the thing. Last year's team was the last 2 years have been the poster children of what happens when you nail all your transfers and when you don't nail all your transfers. It's why playing the Russian roulette game of trying to wing the transfer portal, it's a fickle mistress. Last year was the true definition of not just missing on certain guys, their quarterbacks, but also, bulk injuries at the wrong positions. Like almost all of their offensive linemen last year got dinged up. Also, last year was a case of what happens when you constantly miss on these home run high school recruits, which is something the one thing that Norvell has done poorly is they have not recruited high school that well. I think last year was a disaster, absolutely. But I still have faith in what they're going to do. I think last year showed also that the team that went 13-0 was incredibly talented, yes, but it did hide some flaws when it came to some of their coaching staff, which had been rooted there for a while. Norvell never really was able to dig some of that out. I think they made some good offseason moves. I loved the Gus Malzahn hiring at OC, and I think Castellanos, other than hitting a drive to deep left field, and the game is 4-1 now, I think Castellanos would do very well with Malzahn. So that I'm excited for. They restocked the. It should be a very experienced offensive line. I think that this team, they need to bounce back. That's the biggest thing. They have to bounce back. A bowl game like that's a non-negotiable at this point after last year's embarrassment. Because it wasn't the fact that they lost; it's how they lost, right? Like, think of all those games they had where they basically just quit, and got like the SMU game. They play at SMU, and it went from like a 2-score game to like 40-14 in the matter of 5 minutes. It's like that was really bad. So hopefully they can bounce back. 7-5, man, it's tough. Because let's just obviously pencil in the Bama loss. Like, what are their no doubter wins? I think obviously the 3 games coming up after that, those are wins. They should beat Pitt at home. That'd be 4. Going to Stanford could be tough, but just because even though Stanford's abysmal, this team, going cross country, we'll see. I don't know. They didn't have to do that last year. But I will say they win that. That's 5. Wake's horrendous, so that's 6. And then you got to go, kind of bob and weave there to end the schedule. I will say 8-4 is definitely doable. So all of that to say, I would go slightly over. They're going to lose to Alabama. They're going to lose to Clemson. And then, Virginia Tech might be a toss-up. Miami, they probably will lose, right? But who knows what Miami's going to be. People are going to love them on paper, but who knows if they're going to fall off or not. And then Florida's another one where it's like, well, they should be good, but, who knows?
I can see it now. They beat Bama, and Castellanos looks up into the sky, and the silhouette of Jordan Travis and stars, like outlined in stars, just slowly fades away smiling.
Absolutely. True angels in the outfield.
Bro, listen. If he didn't say shit before this game, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Thomas put a fucking just target on his own back. That wasn't warranted. Like it wasn't even needed. He could have talked all the shit he wanted about the ACC and talk about how he was, I would tear it up with this team. I got the guys. But the moment he's like, Nick Saban's not there to save him, I'm like, dude, you don't give Alabama billboard material.
Can we warrant saying Alabama is a team who hones in on billboard material anymore?
With the new coach? Them, absolutely.
I wouldn't.
One thing about him, he's a great motivator. And Caleb DeBoer's gonna be like, this guy thinks you guys are trash. You guys are he's gonna run all over you guys, gonna throw all over you guys. You get a motivated Alabama team to go to Tallahassee. Is it in neutral site?
No, it's in Tallahassee.
It's in Tallahassee.
You're going to Tallahassee, down to Alabama. Alabama fans are gonna travel. I'm just saying, man, like.
It's your first game of the season after you were expected to be competing for the conference championship and you were bottom of the barrel. You have Alabama in the second year with their head coach. And we've seen it before, right? Where like these teams where everyone thinks, yeah, they like this team's not what they used to be. They should be able to keep up. And then they're on the road and they just they curb stomp them. That's what I legit think that's what's going to happen. I not even in like just to, because of the billboard material. I just really think when I look at these two teams and like everyone's going to be hyped, new quarterback, all this, and then they're just going to get the shit kicked out of them.
I can't wait.
I think it's on the board that Florida State gets ragdolled, but like, look, again, the biggest thing here with a lot of this stuff is it's July 2nd. You know, when we get to late August, we'll probably have better vibe checks on this. But hey,
line is currently minus 12.5 Alabama.
Taking Alabama.
Go
ahead, Don. We've been cutting off Don, man.
Yeah, Don.
Clear the room.
Go ahead.
Clear
Don's
out.
been patient.
Clear out.
Let me say this.
Let me. No, just...
All right, there you flaming lip. Stop it. All right. As someone who's watched Tommy Castellanos, as he's going by now, play football collegiately, there is no way that you think this team should win 8 games. You better be hoping and praying that one of those backup quarterbacks can play, because Castellanos, the second that shit hits the fan, he's just gonna bow out. He's a quitter.
So you're saying his immaturity. You're like because didn't he have that last year at BC?
He knew they benched him. They benched him, and he said, "Okay, cool, I'm out."
Well, yeah, he came out saying that him and Bill O'Brien didn't seem eye to eye and stuff like that. Bro, we know it's because you were checking out, man. It wasn't because Bill O'Brien wasn't gonna play you all of a sudden. You were quitting.
I think offensively, their offensive line is good, which will help Castellanos. But I think that there's a chance within the first couple games he gets banged up real bad, and he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." But I think they win 7 games. I think the game that you said, I think them going to Stanford, I think they lose to, because that's just the ultimate. And it's right before the bye. We get 2 weeks, and we get to go play Wake. That's great. That's a game that Florida State loses. But I agree with you every other way. I think they lose to Bama. I think they lose to Miami. I think they lose to Clemson. I think they lose to Florida. I think that 5th game comes from either Stanford or Pitt, because it's early enough in the schedule. And it'll be just after it'll be a letdown spot because they were supposed to play Miami, and Carson Beck caught fire. He stinks.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about them here in a minute. I was going to mention. I wonder how he's
we got
now
13 more teams to get through.
We'll see.
How are these expansions?
Yeah,
that's because we spent so long on the first 6 teams in college.
Yeah.
I was in so much time arguing about the CUSA.
I will say this: they do get here, man. All right, I'm sorry.
If Castellanos,
you have to be doing that, man. If I knew you would start with C-USA, I would have coached and taken my time.
if Castellanos does, if he does get kidnapped for hitting a deep drive to left field, like his other namesake, they do really like the freshman they snagged. They snipered from Oklahoma, Kevin Sperry. We'll see if he ever. They love what he's done in camp. So we'll see. They have to. This is obviously, they know that this is a huge make or break year for them. So
correct.
We'll see.
And again, for full breakdowns of every team on the 4 Frequencies State Network, make sure you guys are checking out my articles. I'm giving you predictions for both offensive, defensively, especially right now with the ACC all being out. I have what I think their schedule looks like, their win total, and then where I have everybody lined up. So for the full breakdown, as we have 5 mouths to feed here, it gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. Make sure you're checking that out on for Frequency State Network.
All right, let's move into Georgia Tech. Kev, I'll start with you here. So you seem, I know you seem kind of high on them. Colorado, week 1. Gardner-Webb, Temple, and Georgia are their non-con schedule this year. Where do you see this team finishing at?
Yeah, I am high on Georgia Tech. I think their ceiling is 9-3. I really like Haynes King. I hope he stays healthy all year. They the style of play that they, especially on offense, just gives teams fits. I think they beat Colorado. I'm not sold on the old Liberty Flames quarterback or their freshman, and we don't know what we're gonna get out of them. So I think Georgia Tech goes into Colorado and steals a win there. Obviously, they're going to beat Gardner Webb. And again, I think they can give Clemson fits. I am counting that as a loss, but I think they can potentially pull an upset up there. If they do, all of a sudden, maybe we're talking about them, competing for an ACC championship, because the rest of the schedule in the ACC is not all that difficult. At Wake Forest, at Duke, at NC State, at Boston College, none of those games are really that scary. They're home games: Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Pitt. Again, you're getting Pitt late in the year. None of those games are that scary. And then obviously you end with Georgia. That's a loss. But, they have a shot of competing for the ACC championship, in my opinion. I feel like more than likely they're going to be sitting at 8-4 when all is said and done. But it would not surprise me if they find a way to win 2 extra games, or get to 9-3 and maybe shock even me and get to 10-2. But
I think they're sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, coming up next, why Kev thinks Georgia Tech is the real college football playoff dark horse.
Right.
That was all I had.
I mean, if they can shock Clemson, it's there.
Yeah,
They're for the taking.
I think they lose 3 games in conference. I think they lose to Clemson, and I think they lose 2 road games, Duke and NC State. I think that's what keeps them out of potential hunt for the ACC title. I think they go 8-4, like you said. Offensively, obviously, the spread option that they run with Foster Faulkner at OC, their depth is unbelievable. Haynes King, Jamal Haynes are studs. Losing Singleton Jr. definitely stinks, but they bring back Malik Rutherford. They bring back Eric Rivers. They have a ton of talent and wide receiver I really like. And then I think the biggest thing is the offensive line. Their offensive line is going to be good, especially when it comes to run blocking. They're going to be consistently in almost every game that they're in, and I think defensively is their best aspect. They bring in Blake Gideon. D line, they have a ton of dudes, especially when you return a massive amount like they did from a year ago. I think Kyle Elford coming back from them in the linebackers room definitely helps. Melvin Jordan's also very, very talented, and Cayman Spalding. And then I think DB, they just have too much talents there. They have a bunch of guys that could be shut down corners. And I think that's what basically helps keep them at 8-4. I think there's a chance, like you said, their ceiling could be 10-2. I've been a big Brent Key guy since he came in as interim, and I'll ride with Georgia Tech until he does it. I think they'll go 8-4. The 7.5 is just too high for me to take, but I like Georgia Tech for sure.
Okay. All right, let's head on to Louisville. Out of conference schedule is Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, Bowling Green, and Kentucky in rivalry week. Road games against Pitt, Miami, Virginia Tech, and SMU. Home against Boston College, Clemson, Cal, and Virginia, as well as they play home in the Kentucky game. Steve, where are you putting Louisville record-wise?
I think a ceiling of 9-3 is realistic for them, right? Because Eastern Kentucky win. I think they're a better team than James Madison. They'll catch Bowling Green. That's 3-0. Pitt kick off the ACC play against Pitt. That's a win. Virginia. So they're going to start the season 5-0. They're going to be sitting nice. Then they end up playing at Miami. And we saw how last games went with Miami. And now Miami did upgrade their defensive coordinator position. But That's a toss-up game to me, but I'll count that as a loss. Let's go 5-1. Then they play Boston College 6-1. Virginia Tech, I think they're better than Virginia Tech 7-1. They play Cal at home 8-1. Clemson, they lose to Clemson 8-2. Play at SMU. That's a tough game. That's a toss-up game. Let's say they lose to SMU 8-3, and they finish the season against Kentucky. I think they get to 9 wins. So put me down for 9 for Louisville.
Can I intrigue you guys at Louisville plus 170 at 10 plus wins regular season?
No.
Holler at
You
your boy.
No, I will, because I've been waiting for someone else to try and back me up here, because I do think that they finished 10-2.
So who do you think they lose to? Clemson?
I think I think they beat Clemson because they're at home. I think they lose 2 bullshit games, but they make the ACC title game. I think they lose at Pitt at the beginning of the year, and then I think you said they're leaps and bounds better than Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech catches them. I think those are the 2 games they lose. I think they win at SMU. I think they win against Clemson.
That's what I was going to say. What do you think with the SMU game being right after Clemson and then right before Kentucky?
I mean, Kentucky, when we get into the SEC, I'll dive into the worlds of Kentucky football this year. But I think Louisville, people aren't talking about this. Louisville coming into this season with Jeff Brom as their head coach, they're 19-8 and 12-4 in ACC play. Especially with all the roster turnover that they've had, this team has the chance to make the ACC title game. They still have Isaac Brown at running back, who I think is going to be fantastic for them. They have a ton of depth on the offensive line. I think that'll help. Defensively, I think that's going to be what's going to lead them. D-line, they're very, very talented. Linebackers, I'll give you 2 guys right here who had 50-plus tackles last year, TJ Quinn and Stanquan Clark. One's a senior, one's a junior. Secondary could be what hurts them, but I think that those guys, once they get they were deep last year. You got a bunch of guys coming in via the transfer portal. I think this Louisville team has a chance to win 10 games. I think this team is going to play Clemson in the ACC title game this year, because I'm just that high on Miller Moss. Because I saw inconsistencies last year at USC, but that's at USC with Lincoln Riley. With Jeff Brom in Louisville, there's less potential, and you saw what they did with a quarterback like Tyler Show last year. If Miller Moss has a year like Tyler Show had, this team can win 10-plus games.
And I think they're the schedule beneficiary this season.
Exactly, and I agree with you.
Their non-conference schedule is an absolute cakewalk. Pitt's a tough game, but don't they play? Is that a road game or is that at home?
It's a road game. They play at Pitt.
So they got to go to Pitt, but even still,
I think they beat Miami, they beat Clemson, they beat SMU. Those are their 3 toughest games this year, and I think they win them all.
Getting Clemson at home, so that's huge. So who knows? That could be a big opportunity for them. I think 10-2 is definitely on the board, so I'd go over.
They're right now. They're plus 750 to win the ACC conference championship game, and they're plus 340 to make the college football playoff.
They also don't have to travel west. The furthest they travel is SMU.
Exactly, and that's a big reason why I think they're going 10-2.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments before we head to the next team? All right. The U, Miami, looking at their schedule, Notre Dame to start out. Then hitting Bethune-Cookman, South Florida. Home games against Louisville, Stanford, Syracuse, and NC State. Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, SMU, and Florida State on the road in conference play. Steve, where you got the Canes?
Yeah, Steve, where do you got the games?
Come on, Steve.
The only reason I say this is because Steve and I were talking off air last week about Miami Hurricanes.
So, looking at their schedule, maybe 7 to 8 wins.
Don't you? The win total right now is set at 9.5, correct?
Correct.
It's 9.5 or 8.5.
Danny?
9.5.
Let me look. I wasn't looking it up. I was too busy watching Shohei ruin my parlay.
Oh, we're talking about college football. You watch Joey ruin your parlay later.
Yeah, bro.
Well, Hunter Brown saved my parlay because he's the best pitcher in the American League.
Cool, I love that for you. Now give me what the over
He's happy that you're happy.
You know what's funny? Hunter Brown didn't have a single strikeout for the first 3 innings, and the first thing Steve said is, "Oh, Don's gonna love that." 9.5 plus 135.
That's insane.
So
Hunter.
I want to tell you right now. So Steve and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. Steve got it before I did, because when I went back to add it, it had already jumped up to 9.5. Steve and I got it at. Steve got it at 8.5 under at plus 122. They're going 7-5 at best. Carson Beck stinks. They lose to Notre Dame. They lose to Florida. They lose to Louisville. They lose at SMU, and they lose at Pittsburgh at the end of the year. 7-5. Don't have it.
They lose to Pitt at the end of the year?
Yeah, at the end of the year.
That's not how
a
this
tough
works.
one. Yeah, Pitt's not very
It's
good.
only supposed to win games week 3 through 7.
Yeah,
I-
basically.
Don't have
I feel like
Pat
there's an imbalance.
Pat Narduzzi is going to be in Carson Beck's fucking brain.
I mean, we're talking about Mario Cristobal here, guys. Like,
Yeah,
That's the
I
thing.
mean,
remember who we're talking about as their head coach. All right, so
yeah.
Are you
last
saying
year, think about how last year went. Last year was because they had a Heisman caliber number 1 overall draft pick. Right, that's why they won the game.
Are you saying that
they were the benefit of a cupcake schedule last year? What the fuck are you talking about?
they did? Are you saying that Narduzzi's going to be in his grill, or going to be in his stuff more than the Instagram models Carson Beck was cheating on one of the Cavender twins with at Miami?
Correct. Yeah.
Too soon?
No, never.
That
It's
happened
never
a
too
while
soon.
ago.
You
It's
think
not
I
too
feel
soon.
bad for a guy who drives around Lamborghinis all day? No, absolutely.
The only thing that's good about Miami is their defense. I just think their offense is going to struggle this year with Beck at the helm.
Yeah, I don't trust Beck enough. I think this is the highest variance team as far as win-loss, ceiling, and floor, personally. Like, if Carson Beck ends up being the Carson Beck from Georgia from 2-3 years ago, this team could easily go undefeated. If he's the Carson Beck from last year, I'm with you. I think 7-5 is probably where they go.
I think
Yeah.
there could be a chance where we see Beck struggling so bad that a guy like Emory Williams or even their 4-star true freshman Luke Nickel comes in and just takes over for him.
I mean, I think another benefit of Miami this year, same as last year, is honestly, I don't think their schedule is really that difficult. They start off with 4 home games, so they get Florida and Notre Dame at home. Not
Yeah,
that
they
they're
lose both of them.
not that their home stadium is that much of an
no one gives a
advantage,
damn.
but you're playing at Florida State. We're not really sure what they're going to be. You get
They'll beat Florida State.
you get
Florida State
Louisville
booty
at
cheeks.
home.
Louisville, they'll lose to.
Don't have to travel west.
If you travel to Texas, SMU, they'll lose.
So
And then-
I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I don't trust Carson Beck. I don't. I think he's good for 2 interceptions a game.
People have this team making the college football playoff.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
me
I can
last-
see it again if he plays. I'm also with Steve. I don't trust Cristobal enough, but
Yeah,
I can see why people have him based off what they did last year. And if you get the Carson Beck from that Georgia national championship team, okay, but I just don't see it. I don't think he's that good personally. I'm with you, Don, and I don't like Cristobal. I don't think he's
He wasn't
a good coach.
the Georgia national championship.
Yeah, man.
So
Great
yeah, Beck
recruiter.
did win a title.
I thought he did, wasn't he?
No, Stetson Bennett is a 2-time.
Bennett.
The fourth,
Bennett.
the
Stetson
fourth
Bennett was
version
the
of him,
guy.
by the way. The
Yeah.
fourth Stetson Bennett. has multiple national championships.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett, who didn't finish with a college degree after all those years.
Yo,
Hey, man.
that is impressive.
That's what happens when you go out partying, boy. Nah, don't trust it.
All
Can you blame him?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe.
Anything else before we move on?
No, that's it.
All right, got the Wolfpack now. NC State, look at their schedule. East non-con is all over the place this year. ECU week 1, Campbell week 6. I think that's it. I think they are Notre Dame right after Campbell, and then I don't think they play another non-conference game.
Disrespect, Ray. I thought we were going to be talking about Kevin I's boys, but nope, we're going right over them. NC State.
It's next.
Yeah, alphabetically NC
because
State.
they said NC and not North Carolina State.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Wake, Duke, Notre Dame, Pitt, Miami on the road, Virginia Tech, Virginia, ECU, Campbell, Georgia Tech, Florida State, and UNC at home.
What did you
in
say
Carter-Finley.
their non-cons were?
East Carolina, Campbell, Notre Dame. That's it. They only have 3. I think they have a 3rd bye week.
If I had to guess, one of those early conference games is going to be counted as a non-con.
Yeah, they have. Well, so they have. Yeah, they have 3 bye weeks. Like they play Notre Dame bye week, Pittsburgh Pittsburgh, and then Miami. So they'll probably count Virginia.
No, I think they have 2 bye weeks. Bye week in between Notre Dame and Pitt, and then Georgia Tech, Miami.
Okay, I read that
don't play
wrong.
week 0. That's all it is. Dave Doreen, man, this offense is going to be something. Let me tell you. CJ Bailey showed flashes last year. They still got a guy, Hollywood Smothers, at running back. Other than that, I mean, I'm just not sold on this offense. I think the offense is going to be the big reason why they win 5 games. I got them with 5-7.
Yeah, their line's at 6.5 plus 125 for the over.
Don't even worry.
I'm with you on that.
They're not winning 6 games, right, Kev?
Yeah, no, I'm not high on NC State at all.
Yeah.
All right, so we can move on to your boys. UNC non-con schedule is TCU, Charlotte, Richmond, UCF, Clemson at home, Virginia at home, Stanford and Duke at home, Cal, Syracuse, Wake, and NC State. They do not have back-to-back weeks on the road or at home. Everything is alternated for the entire season.
Just how Bill wants it, baby.
Where do we see the first year of Belichick going?
I got bowl eligibility, but I got 7-5.
Who's going to be coaching the team by December? Him, his son, or his significant other?
His significant other and his son.
There we go.
And then Bill's gonna somehow be out in the NFL somewhere.
Yeah.
I think, look, man.
He'll be coaching the
wanna
Jags by week 8.
I just want to know, like, do you think she goes extra wild for him, or do you think because it's, an older guy with a younger girl that's way out of his league that she just kind of plain Janes it and it still blows his mind? Like,
You know what?
I'm
not going to answer that. I'm not going to dignify that answer. I'm
Like,
not
I'm just
I'm
wondering.
thinking about.
I think UNC's offensive line's pretty good.
Joe,
Fantastic answer, Don.
she
That's
says,
exactly-
Joe, she says you like that. He said we're moving on to the next week.
Yeah.
I like
We're on to Syracuse.
I like the quarterback competition they have between Gio Lopez and Bryce Baker. Excuse me. I like the wide receiver room with Kobe Paysauer, Jordan Shipp, and Isaiah Johnson. I think offensively it's going to be very good. Defensively, I'm curious to see how Steve Belichick's squad looks. They thrived on chaos last year as they generated 41 sacks, which was the 6th most in the FBS. Up front with Bryce Yates, CJ Mims and company, they're going to be dogs. I think they have a good linebacker core, and I think an excellent secondary. they lost their best cover corner in Elijah Huzzy, but they get Caleb Cost back. They get Marcus Allen, who's going to start. Thaddeus Dixon was a prize portal addition that they added from the University of Washington. They're very deep in the secondary. I really like this defense. I think their offense has potential, but they could be the reason why they lose some games. But I have them at 7-5.
Kev, our other resident Tar Heel.
Yeah, no, I agree with basically everything Don said. I think those first 4 games will determine if they can potentially get to 8-4 or 9-3. If they can find a way to beat TCU and UCF, they might be on track to have like a 9-3 season. But I think more than likely it's 7-5. Their ACC schedule, while it's you don't have back-to-back home games or back-to-back away games, it's really not that difficult. Yeah, they have to travel to Cal, but Syracuse probably not going to be as good as they were last year. You get Stanford and Virginia at home, should be two pretty easy wins. And then 2 rivalry games at the end of the year could also make or break the season. So, but I think they're 7-5. I'm with Don on that. But I'm hoping for 9-3.
I mean, I'm
Anyone else?
fucking 12-0, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful for 12-0. I have realistic hopes, not
Wouldn't that be
Alright.
something?
All right,
They just
next.
go out and they win 10 games.
Next we got is the Pitt Panthers. Non-con is Duquesne, Central Michigan, West Virginia, and Notre Dame. Home games in the conference are Louisville, Boston College, NC State, and Miami. Road games: Florida State, Syracuse, Stanford, Georgia Tech.
I
let
want
y'all
to hear
say-
all. I want to hear all of these overs that y'all got for Pitt. Since every time we bring up who they're playing, you all got Pitt beating them. So
well, I think they start 5-2 and then they fall off.
Like last year.
Yeah, I feel like they lose at Stanford late in the year. They're going to lose to Notre Dame. I think they lose their last 4 games, maybe even their last 5.
See, I got them going 3-3 to start the year and 3-3 to end. I think they're a cool 6-6, and I think they beat Miami to make a bowl game. I like Eli Holstein.
Yeah, I
and
like
Desmond
Eli Holstein
Reed
too.
as their 1-2 combination there. Offensive line's a little bit shaky for me, but I think their defense is going to be the one that keeps them in a bunch. They brought a ton of pressure last year. They racked up over 100 tackles for loss, 21 sacks. Both top 10 in the nation. Kyle Lewis comes back, which is a big help for that linebacker core, as he's going to be the leader of that defense. And then up front, all you need to know is about Sean Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, I think they finished 6-6. I think it's just different. I think they go 5-2 and then 1-4 at the end of the season.
what if they flip it? What if they start like 1-5 and then they rally?
Probably won't
Would that
happen.
be funny?
No chance. If they start off 1-5, they're going to
They
go
go
1-9.
They might win 3 games the rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right. Next one we got. We're gonna. Yeah, fuck yeah. Eat shit, Pitt, from a Wake Forest fan. Fuck you, Kenny Pickett.
Put y'all on a poster, dog.
Yeah, look where that got him. Bitch.
Super Bowl ring. What do you mean?
Yeah, I know. I hate it.
Exactly. Super Bowl champion Ken Pickett, bro.
Yeah. I can't wait for him to be the backup to Deshaun Watson, who's the backup to Shedeur Sanders this year.
Who's the backup to Joe
Dylan
Flacco?
Gabriel. Yeah, to Joe Flacco.
Dylan Gabriel will get traded to Miami by like week 4 and be their starter because Tua's going to have another concussion.
Probably.
Whoa! Quinn
I saw this
Ewers
video.
is the starter. My
Joe,
boy.
I sent this to Nick the other day, where it was this video of this guy like staring at his TV, going, "Oh no," and it's had me going to get a drink during a Monday night Dolphins primetime game, and I come back to see Quinn Ewers starting.
Exactly.
I hope. Honestly, might be their only chance.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
Mustangs. Non-con is East Texas A&M, Baylor, Missouri State, TCU, In conference, they play Syracuse, Stanford, Miami, and Louisville at home. Clemson, Wake, Boston College, and Cal on the road, ending the season on the West Coast at Cal. Don, I'm guessing you have this Mustangs finishing third this year.
Yeah, I got them at 9-3. I'm a big RJ Maryland guy. Their tight end of their senior tight end who was banged up last year. Was balling before a season-ending ACL injury. I don't think they have the receiving room that they had a year ago. Running back wise, I think they have TJ Harding coming in from UCLA, who would be good for them. But I was really high. I thought LJ Johnson was going to be a stud for them this year. He went to Cal. Kevin Jennings is good. They did bring in Tyler Van Dyke to back him up just in case.
The dude still has eligibility.
He's a graduate. I think the reason why they're going to win so many games and their offense is going to look good is because their offensive line is going to be really, really nice. And I think their defense is really good. They retooled their 4-2-5 scheme with Scott Simons. I think their weakness is their linebacker room. Their secondary is super strong, and up front they're going to create a lot of havoc. But I have them finishing 9-3. I have them losing to Clemson. I have them losing to Louisville, and by God, I have them losing to Baylor.
Big Sawyer Robinson guy?
Big Sawyer Robinson guy.
Hell yeah.
Sawyer Robinson won me a shit ton of money last year, and I will be a big Sawyer Robinson guy until the day I die.
You and you two and Dave Aranda, Sawyer Robinson guys.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Sawyer Robinson, Dave Aranda would be bye-bye.
Dave Aranda would be a quality coach at UCLA right now. No, I'm with it.
Steve, what you got?
I'm with Don on this one.
Yeah, it's fun to root for SMU here because of the guys they got. Last year was a fantastic spot. They come in. They were kind of a team that benefited from some, being able last year to avoid Miami and Clemson in the regular season was pretty big. So this year they don't have that luxury. So we'll see if they can continue to take those strides, but they've been a very good pushing forward team. Now with the backing of a Power 5 conference, Power 4, Power 5, Power 4 conference.
People.
Don't forget that George Bush blood money.
Hey, man. America.
Well, listen, one of my best friends was a quality coach at SMU for 4 years, so Pony Up's got a place in my heart.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Thought I left the hood, but they're still popping shots.
Bow, bow.
Nah, they started shooting fireworks off.
Speaking of popping shots, we should transition to the school that probably has the highest percentage for academics that's not an Ivy League, the Stanford Cardinals.
There we go. Non-con, Hawaii, BYU, San Jose State, and Notre Dame. At this point, Notre Dame might as well lose that independent status. They are playing everyone in the ACC this season.
They have the last couple of years.
At home conference games, Boston College, Florida State, Pitt, and Cal. Road games, Virginia, SMU, Miami, and UNC. Kev, where are we putting the Cardinals?
Personally, I think they're lucky if they get 3. Do they even beat Hawaii in the opening game?
Yeah.
It's a road game.
That's what I'm saying. It's a road game in Hawaii.
Well, put it this way, I've been on Hawaii the last couple of years at home to start the season, and they've lost.
They keep losing. So you're going to bet on Stanford this year, and then Hawaii's going to win. Yeah, I mean, BYU, even without Retzlaff, they should win. BYU should win that game. Boston College at home, I think that's a toss-up. I think they can catch Boston College just because of the travel. But, San Jose State, I think, is probably their only guaranteed win. San Jose State lost a ton of their talent, but including Nick Nash and I think their quarterback. So I think that's probably maybe their only – I don't even really want to say it's a guaranteed win, but that's probably the closest thing they have to a guaranteed win on their schedule.
I have San Jose State beating them, actually.
maybe Hawaii, I guess.
I have them at 3-9. I have them beating Hawaii. I have them beating BC, and then I have them beating the Florida State Seminoles.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go under.
My thing with Stanford is, I need to see who the starting quarterback is, because what I saw was that Elijah Brown was going to be the guy, and then now, from what my notes have shown, is that they brought in Ben Gulbranson from Oregon State and then Dylan Rissick from UCF. I didn't think they were working, but they're apparently the primary for the two spots. So I'm curious to see what their quarterback play looks like. I like CJ Williams coming from Wisconsin. I think he helps them tremendously offensively. And I think defensively, I just think they're going to be overall a lot better than they were a year ago. I mean, they're going to the 3-4 front. I think they have one really good talent in front seven that could play in the NFL. But I just, their starters for their secondary are solid, and I just think they have so much depth. So I think that's what's going to help prolong this defense to being better. I just think they're going to struggle at top of the run.
All right, and we got 4 teams left here. Any other comments on Stanford before we head on to the other S team?
I feel like for all these last ones, you can do like 5-second cuts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all want
the rest
to
of
do
these
just
teams are
rap,
dog water.
Steve, Kev, y'all want to do just rapid fire, or y'all want to do a breakdown on these?
For Syracuse, give me 4 wins.
RIP Frank Brown, and shout out to his orange juice. Tough season coming up for those guys.
Oh yeah, I got them. I gave them 5 just because I think they squeak out. Like I think they steal one from Duke, but other than that, there's not a lot. I don't trust Ricky Collins coming in from LSU to be their starting guy and having success, especially when they only returning 37% of their offensive production from last year.
Yeah.
All right, Virginia. Start with you, Kev.
I mean, I don't. What's their win total? Got to be what, 4.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they get there. I think under's a good play there. William and Mary, probably their only guaranteed win. Maybe Coastal as well.
I wouldn't even say William Mary's guaranteed, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, listen, I got them at 5 wins. I had them honestly low key with Chandler Morris. They're gonna. I have them starting 4-0 and then finishing 1-7 in the rest of the year. And their 1 wins against Daniels, Wake Forest, UNT.
Yeah.
you think they go into NC State even as bad as NC State is?
Yeah, I think they win at NC State, and then they win at home against Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. This is a team I'm happy I can't bet on because I just don't see anything I like.
I mean, let's put it this way: this is probably Tony Elliott's last year in Virginia, correct?
Yeah, should be.
Should have been 2 years ago.
Well, let's put it this way: he won 5, so they gave him 1 less.
All right, Virginia Tech. South Carolina start the year. They got Vandy. They got to play Louisville, Miami. Where do you got them at, Don?
I got them 6-6. I'm curious about this team. Their defense, they're bringing in Sam Siegfried, a former assistant in the NFL for the Vikings and the Cardinals. I think they bring a ton of guys. I think offensively is where the big issue is going to be. If Jerome can stay healthy, I think that is going to help tremendously. They bring in a new OC with a fast-paced offense that will be crucial for them. A ton of skill guys from the transfer portal that will help. I think they win 6 games. I think they beat Virginia last game of the season. Both teams are in at 5-6. One of them is going to 6-6. One of them is going to 5-7. One of them is going to a bowl game. I think Virginia Tech gets back there.
Game day will be there. It'll be great.
But I think Virginia Tech gets a shit draw with the ACC schedule because they have to go to Georgia Tech, they have to go to Florida State, and they still have to play Louisville and Miami at home. Those are 4 tough games in the round.
And their non-conference is a bitch.
Yep.
This team, a lot went into last year where people thought that this team was going to be I don't think people went into last year thinking that they were going to be a college football playoff dark horse, but people thought last year that they were going to be a 8 or 9 win team, maybe 10 wins because their schedule, people thought it lined up. Last year was an abject disaster for those guys. So I'm not saying this is like a make or break year for them, but you'd think they would need to bounce back. Their schedule, though, man, it's tough. 6-6.
I think it is a make or break year for Brent Pride this year
because of how bad last year went.
Yeah, it's UVA fans are tired of being trash. They are. It's not UVA, right? UVA they've already conceded. They don't they get mad, but Virginia Tech does have expectations because of Beamer, and they haven't touched that in years.
They're hoping Mike Vick goes 11-1 at Norfolk State.
Right. That's what they're monitoring right now is how
they can
Norfolk
give him a
shit
ton of money and let him go. Yeah,
and they know that's going to be their next coach if he's successful at Norfolk State, which I don't think he's going to shock the world at Norfolk State. So
I mean, I don't think he'll do bad, but I don't think it's going to be we're now the number one HBCU school in the country. Like they're gonna go to be the best school, 12-0, 11-1 type shit.
You're saying he didn't have two? You tell me he didn't have two Power 5 level potential NFL draft pick or actual NFL draft picks?
I think if they see okay, they had a good season. Okay, he did a really good job recruiting, and then they had another good season, and they kept a lot of good if he could show he can retain players, recruit, and consistently win, I think 2 to 3 years they're looking at it. If they
Danny put it this way: if he gets Norfolk State to a FCS playoff, he's going to Virginia Tech. Win or lose that playoff game doesn't matter. If he gets Norfolk State to the FCS playoffs, Virginia Tech, Brent Pryde's done. So, I mean. Don, you had him at what, 6? You said
6.
South Carolina's start is a tough game. That's a neutral site, though. Then they have the revenge game against Vandy with Diego Pisson-Pavia showing up. They can get to 6. I'll put me down for 6 for Virginia Tech, but my expectations is low for this team this year, just because I'm so used to their mediocrity.
All right, and final ACC team. We don't even need to talk about them. They fucking suck. My Wake Forest team.
Whoa. Excuse me for a second. I'm very not high on this team, but with Jack Dicker coming in from Washington State, I think will be beneficial for Wake Forest. I think they win 5 games. I think this over.
I think their non-con is good. Kennesaw State, Western, Delaware,
and then Oregon State.
Yeah.
How fitting! They're playing the Conference USA.
Yeah.
So I think they beat Kennesaw. They beat.
I'm going to be at that Kennesaw State game, so they better win.
I think they beat Virginia Tech, and then I think they beat North Carolina. I got them at 5 and 7.
Wow, you think they're going to beat North Carolina?
Yeah, at home. That's 100% a trap game for North Carolina.
When was the last time they won in Salem?
Tell ya. But also,
all I know is every player, there was 7 kids that went to my high school that all went there, and all 7 of them left after last year.
Damon Claiborne come back. You get Rob Ezell to come in to be their new offense coordinator for South Alabama, which people forget he led them to a top 20 scoring offense. So I expect them to go a little fast paced on it. I think they'll catch teams off guard early and often.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the guy that left was Donovan Green, who went to Virginia Tech. So I'm interested to see what he does. But all right, anything else from you guys on Wake Forest?
No, that's it.
No, I left all my Wake Forest takes in the dishwasher downstairs.
Where they belong.
Exactly.
Oh boy, it's gonna be a sad season for me. Every year I get hyped up for them, they suck, and then every year I'm like, oh, they're gonna suck, they're gonna be good. So I'm just gonna be negative this year.
Yeah,
Do it. Thank you guys for watching. This was our ACC and C-USA breakdown. Next week, we will only be doing one conference, probably SEC, with hopefully another special guest. Maybe you still got to reach out to them, make sure they come in. Make sure you guys have a great and safe 4th of July. Huh? Someone say something?
Nope.
Oh, must have been the TV or something. I heard like a voice, and I was like, what the fuck? It's the voices telling me to take Wake Forest 6+ wins.
Take the over 4.5 there. +1.
Oh, my schizophrenia is coming back.
No, Sam Hartman, no. Thank you guys for watching. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. Peace out.
No,